あら、ストレッチしなきゃわ。Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. How are y'all? I am totally dripping right now. So, how is everyone? Good to see everyone. Okay. Oh, I had my mic off because it's like a separate analog input. So ViadoTube was having a little trouble with it. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I am totally dripping, I promise. Okay. Oh, everything looks good. Oh, I should reload. All right. I have all of the water. Everything seems to be ready. Let's make sure that we've got the background music going for... All right. And with that, guess we can go ahead and start. Last time we left off, we got a mysterious letter from Muriel, and we were going to open it after all of the events that occurred last time. Mysterious letter. Let's see what's inside. I feel a tingling in my fingertips that began the moment I picked up the letter the owl delivered. I wonder if it's from Queen Irowen at the royal castle. Certainly possible. It may also be a report from Matera Muriel. They did mention they'd reach out if they came across anything suspicious. In that case, they'll have news about those nasty rifts, won't it? So what are you waiting for? Open it! The letter in my hand appears to be the focus of everyone's undivided attention. As I carefully open it, I hear a faint snap, as if something breaking off. Dream, it's Muriel. A rift has appeared near the edge of Philia. It's been there ever since I arrived in town. There's just one problem, but I think it's more prudent to discuss it in person. I'd appreciate it if you could come as soon as you get this letter. Muriel. I can almost hear her voice as I read her neat handwriting. I flip the letter around to show everyone, as much to sate their curiosity as to inform them. Huh? It sounds like we have another situation on our hands. We'd best get our things together and prepare to move out. Move out? Right now? Where to? Sounds like the rift in Philly has remained stable for way longer than any of the other rifts we've seen. I wonder if it's a different sort than what we're getting here. This might be a weird observation, Dream, but I think there's something strange going on with your letter. It might have been warded so its message can't be read by anyone other than the person holding it. Oh, I was wondering why you just confidently flipped over a blank piece of paper and stood there holding it, Dream. Like to them, I'm just like, behold this blank paper. Wait a second, then how could Merlin and Enya read it? Duh, I'm Merlin, obviously. Even this level of magic, it's child's play to me. After all, I'm the greatest mage to ever live. Come on, give it up for me. You know I'm greatest. But there's only one Merlin, so that leaves the question how you could read it. Are you secretly a genius or some kind of sage? Come to think of it, I just assumed you were another friend of Ari's, but I didn't hear about how you fell in with this lot. Well, this lady here. Marley shoots Enya a look that can only mean, I don't know what I'm doing. Please save me, Pain Pecco. This one's in your hands. Enya nods back at her with a slight smile. I must have completely forgotten to introduce myself. You can call me Enya. I joined the expeditionary force to help Ari. Yeah, that's who I am. I'm an agent representing the Pontiff's court. Feels strange to have to explain this to others, but my eyes are a little special. They've been blessed by a god, so, I'm able to see things that otherwise couldn't be seen, or something to that effect. Of course, I have to exert a bit of focus to do it, but... A bit of focus? For a seal of that level? Dang, what kind of god is just handing out blessings like that? If you're an agent of the Pontiff's court, I'd assume your blessing comes from Limelark, the god of love? Yes, that's right. Thanks to this blessing, I'm able to see, many things I wasn't able to before. Enya stammers as she tries to find the right words to explain her gift to the ace's satisfaction without raising even more questions. She seems unwilling to simply reveal that she's the pontiff. You should just let us know now. It would make things so much easier later. It sounds like this is one of those topics it's hard for you to dig down into. So if you feel uncomfortable talking about it, you don't have to. Marilyn, you'll just have to keep your 20 questions to yourself for now.
Whoops, didn't mean to pry. Sorry. Curiosity just gets the better of me sometimes, you know? My bad. Anyway, the bottom line here is another rift has appeared in the elves' territory.
Merlin rubs his chin, already deep in thought. I read Muriela's letter to everyone who wasn't able to see the words.
You should get moving. It's an urgent matter, right? Don't worry about us here. We'll hold down the fort. And that new gal you've got is mighty powerful, too. I mean, she seems like she'll be a big help.
Okay, let's head to Philia. Muriel sounded like she might be in trouble, so we need to hurry.
Agreed. If Muriel went to the trouble of sending a letter, the situation must be serious. We can entrust Belvast to Merlin and his companions while we make our way to the Elven homeland. Yes, everybody, let's move out. Let's go. Let's meet with her in Philia. Hi, I'm already in Philia. What luck. It's commercing. And then it just came to the center. I like all of these decorations for the 15th anniversary. Sense and sentiment. Oh, we have to go talk to Mikey. He's over there. Why is he so far away? Also, since we don't have any music right now, I'll just throw on some, like, background stuff. Oh, it's not centered in the flame? Okay. Do I need to move it up a little bit? Okay. Give me just a sec. I'm gonna do this, make it easy to see. Okay. So I can do, and it's not a snowflake. It's sakura blossoms. It's just that you can't tell. Ooh. There. Okay. That should be better, right? Yay! Give me just a sec. Okay, yes. It does feel like it's a bit muted. And I like the erg thing though. Like, I need the erg breakthrough. Going from 0.7% up to 2% is pretty big. So that I've been liking a lot, but overall it feels like I keep forgetting to do it because it just feels like I'm not as invested as I could be. The man before me seems stern and calculating, his cold gaze punctuated by the long scar that runs diagonally down the length of his face. His bobbed, curly hair is combed roughly, his sharp ears jutting up from beneath the barely tamed mop. I can read his rigidity through his stiff posture and the uniform slightly too big for his thin frame. And the star card of Erg raises your Erg success rate, does not stack with the Erg potions from the wheel event.
Good, you're finally here. I assume we've read Muriel's letter, so why don't we jump right in? I count it a small blessing that it emerged at the edge of town rather than in some more populated quarter. I refer, of course, to the black pits your squad has taken to calling rifts. This one materialized the day before Muriel arrived, and there it has remained ever since. Since you possess the knowledge and the means to rid the world of these things, I expect the arrival of the expeditionary force in Philia to mean that it will be dealt with permanently.
I think it's strange to find Mikey in a state of uncertainty, as though he struggles to find the right way to express his frustrations.
What do we do if he never comes back? It's all my fault. He fell in trying to save me. The girl is breaking down weeping. Oh, it's okay. I'll go save him. It'll be okay.
Many of our soldiers were terrified when it first appeared, and as a result, made numerous mistakes. And if it put the city's guard in such a panic, I can only imagine what it was like for the residents. Just when it seemed like we were getting a handle on the situation, we noticed there was a young elf who was yet unaccounted for. And so we waited, hoping that the rift would appear once more. We thought that perhaps if it did, it might be possible for a missing child to escape. In hindsight, it was a foolish plan. I should have known that things would not be so simple.
Mikey pauses, his cold glare fixed in the direction of the rift. The sound of the elven girl's crying is carried away on the dusty breeze.
My chief and I are in agreement that the child must be rescued. From what I can gather, that rift seems connected to Karu Forest in some way. The rift now at the edge of town is the very same that previously appeared in the town square. Still, we've no guarantee the missing child will be found inside. Even were it possible to delve into its depths, we also face the problem of what to do should it disappear while any of our other kinsmen are inside. According to Muriel, your expeditionary force possesses some method of fixing these rifts to their current location, preventing them from vanishing.
His keen gaze looks past me, coming to rest on Enya.
Here is what I propose. While the rift is being held in stasis at this end, you must personally rescue the child in Karu Forest. And no, you did not mishear me. I'm saying that destroying this rift must wait until after the child's safety is assured. I spent the time after Muriel sent her missive pondering what we ought to do, and this was all I could think of.
Even his blunt and dispassionate tone cannot conceal his concern for the missing child.
Let's discuss his plan.
What do y'all think? Beneath wavy chestnut hair that rustles gently in the breeze, I see his eyes filled with sunny warmth. Looking at his rosy cheeks and honest grin, I can't help but appreciate his innocence and good cheer. A silvery pendant resembling two wings folded into a heart-like shape glimmers on his chest. And I know the feeling. I have a Milky Way flute, but I don't want to use it. It's my last one. Also, I like how they're like, Paran is like super sunny and warm and has like all this happiness. And like every, like literally 3/4 of the time that I see him, he's like breaking down in tears. He is the most unhappy character in this entire generation set. And it's like, look at how happy he is when you talk to him. It's like, actually, no. Good try, but no.
He's baby.
Dream, while you were talking to the captain over there, we had a chance to hear the details from Muriel and the girl. She was on a playdate with her friend. When the rift appeared, he pushed her to safety, and in doing so, fell in himself. The agony that child must be feeling right now. It's all too familiar. Alade seems worlds away as she trails off, unable to continue. Our first priority is to rescue the child in the rift. He must be so scared, the poor thing. Time is of the essence, though. I doubt he's had anything to eat or drink for days. According to our chief, the monsters that appeared in town are usually found in the Karu Forest Ruins dungeon. Seems pretty likely that the rift is connected there, don't you think? I know the rift has been open for some time now, but we've been hesitant to make any moves out of fear that the longer it's been here, the more likely it could be to vanish at any moment. I should be able to keep it open long enough, but it won't be easy. Even so, if it means we can save that child, I believe I'll find the strength I need to ensure that the rift remains stable and open. As long as the rift is here, it remains connected to the area on the other side. Enya, I'd like you to take charge of the Philia side of this operation. Meanwhile, Ari and I will make our way to the Karu Forest ruins.
Just leave it to me. I'll see if I can learn anything else that might be of use. Just promise me you'll be careful.
Now, let's turn our attention to our destination. From what we know, the child went missing when the rift appeared in the town square, correct? In that case, we'll need an offering to present at the entrance to the ruins dungeon. I recall reading something about this in the Royal Castle Library. Without an offering for safe passage, it'll be easy to get lost or disoriented. It's possible that using something connected to the missing child may help increase your chances of finding him. For example, an object he may frequently have made use of, or a favorite article of clothing. Invisible ties are often formed between people and the things they use or hold often.
Excuse me, but if that's true, then...
The Erlin girl speaks in a voice still halting and quavering, fresh teardrops rolling down her cheeks.
Well, this too. It's something we used to play with together. He made this toy for me. Would it help you find him?
Held in her small hands is a clay doll, molded with great care.
Of course it will, dear. This will be a big help to us in our search for your friend. Really? I'm so glad. I hope he's still out there. It's because of me that he... There. When we find him, I promise we'll tell him how much you helped us in our search. So please, don't cry. It's gonna be okay. Alright? In the meantime, I'll take very good care of your doll for you. It's going on a mission to help us find your friend. Marlene, I'd like to come with you to Karu Forest. I used to play with this child sometimes. I think it'll be reassuring for him to see a familiar face. He's only a young boy, and he's likely stressed and exhausted from his ordeal. I'll stay here with Enya. Haran peers at the elven girl whose crying is now punctuated with the occasional hiccup. Someone needs to stay here and be with the little girl. Besides, I don't want Enya to be alone here either. Very well. So Muriel, Dream and I will head to Karu Forest, while Paran and Enya will stay here in Philia to monitor the situation. Captain Mikey and the guards will make sure you're well protected here. Even in the event of a sudden attack, they'll defend you. If anything happens, I'll do what needs to be done. But don't be worried. Limelark is watching over us. Enya flashes a bright smile as if to reassure us. Please, promise you'll be careful. I'll be praying that the elven child is still safe. Bye-bye, everyone. We're gonna go to the Karu. We're gonna go Karu. Let's go zoom. Snake mark. Snake. What do you mean, no bully? He bullies himself. I don't have to do anything. He's just instantly just... The sun's rays stream down on her finely tanned skin. Her light, airy clothes are dusted with a gram of countless travels. Lilac eyes, gleaming with curiosity, gently lined upon me. Well, we made it to Karu Forest fine, but now that we're here, I feel a little overwhelmed. I agree. I've never seen a forest so dense. It's a wonder light gets through the canopy. Marley looks up towards the sky, her face filled with worry. The search will only grow more difficult once the sun sets. Of course, it's entirely possible that the child has escaped the ruins and is wandering the forest. We must make haste while we still have daylight to aid us. There is always the possibility that he escaped the ruins through sheer luck. I think we should search both the forest and the ruins, just to be safe. Okay, here's the plan. Muriel and I will split up and search the northern and southern reaches of Karu Forest. The forest is vast, and it would take far too long for one person to search through it. That sounds good to me. Then I suppose that leaves Ari to search the Karu Forest ruins. As much as I'd prefer us all to stick together, we have to prioritize efficiency right now. Oh, and I almost forgot. The child's friend gave us something to help track him, didn't she? Here it is. She gives me the doll. It seems like just yesterday I was making little clay dolls like this to play with. It's a little rough, but you can tell it was made with care. The poor child. He must be terrified. I really hope this will help us find him. I like that you like the Valley Girl accent.
Alright, we've got our assignments. Remember, he's already been out here for days, so he may not be easy to find. Let's try to get the town some good news, alright? Let's get going. This forest isn't going to search itself.
Alright, let's go. I'm gonna go speed around the dungeon.
My favorite character voices are... I like Fadla, and I like... Iron. But I won't get to use Fadla's voice. There's a highlight in my channel that explains why. I'm not gonna say why as spoiler, but I guess if you're watching, you've probably... That was so far. Ooh, mushroom! Shroom! I want a shroom! Shroom. Ooh, double. Mushroom, mushroom. Badger, 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 badger. Mushroom. Gonna go mushroom. Dun 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 dun. Corgi, can you like solo this dungeon for me? I don't want to run it. You can solo this, right? It's just Karu. Yeah? Yeah. Aha. I remember like having to spam this for something and I don't remember. I was wondering too. It's a bit sad that they didn't do it. It would have been really nice. Because I always liked the Karu theme. Like, I hate the dungeon, but the theme is good. Actually, I'm lazy. It's still flame. Bonk. Ah, that had defense. Okay, it's fine. I'm too lazy to like melee everyone. I'm willing to spend the Dora just to have like the giant swings. Am I missing one? Ah, I am. It's always been such a good theme. I'll be normal, but like the or am I thinking of a different theme? Did I miss a chest? Oh, I did. I also really like Phantasm's theme. Dun 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 dun. I don't know why I'm blanking on I'll be normals. Is it the fast dun 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 dun? No wait, that's Bangor. Some of the voices are very hard on me. By the way, Alone, what should I call you? Do you have a preferred method of address? Clown. Okay. Yeah. Like, some of them are harder on me than others. The... Mikey, Sethlin, and a couple of other characters have been pretty hard on me. Krug is also hard on me. But I have like 3 bottles of water. I'll be fine. Let me splash you! I hate these rooms in Karu though, where it's just like, I have to wait forever. Oh no. Just let me hit everything at once. It would be so much easier. But I'm glad that I'm getting a lot of orb rooms. It makes this run so much faster. The
power of the fox. It allows me to see all of the orbs. Thank yous. That thing. How did that not? Okay, fine. Can I just run past y'all? Yes, yes I can.
Our experiment here is complete. Turbo spheres have been confirmed. They have already secured what she requires. We shouldn't leave any loose ends.
You do love to spoil my fun. A lapdog till the end you are. Do what you will.
He's always so smug. Super snug. Hello, I'm here to rescue you. Are you okay? Your eyes are open, that doesn't look good. Hi, thank you, Critical. Thank you for dropping by to say hi. Thank you for the voice acting compliment. I try, thank you.
Water, please.
His breathing is weak and shallow, but his pulse is steady and his condition doesn't seem critical. He's just thirsty. He's just thirsty. Thirsty elf boy. We got some faded debris. Stone statuary from the Karoo Forest ruins dungeon. It's cold to the touch and feels very durable. It seems to have broken up from some massive structure. Hi, Mermaid. I found the thingy. The crest of the Kingdom of Alec is displayed prominently on her polished armor, boldly declaring its warrior steadfast pride and purpose. Her clear aqua blue eyes and lips set in firm resolve betoken her stern, dependable character. A whip-like braid of hair hangs down past her waist, swishing behind her as she walks. All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Critical, I appreciate the lurk. Thank you so much. Dream, you brought him back. Muriel, is this the boy? Oh, wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Critical. Wow. Thank you so much. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. Richie, you have a sub now. So do you, Lemma. Congratulations to both of you. Dream, you brought him back. Muriel, is this the boy? Oh my. Yes, that's the boy who went missing. Let's see. Thank goodness he isn't seriously hurt. He's certainly not in great shape, but considering all he's gone through...
Water.
What is it? You want something to drink?
My throat.
Muriel gently lays the boy's head in her lap and leans over him, bringing her ear close to better hear his quiet, raspy voice. Oh, okay. My friends will do whatever we can to help you. Excuse me, Muriel, but is he all right? He looks ill, for lack of a better word.
Or die.
He's barely conscious. Thank you, Tachi. I have 3 bottles of water and 3 more in reserve. I have all of the water today. Thank you for the reminder. Oh, it's nothing too serious. The main issue is that he's just dehydrated from going so many days without water. We need something to quench his thirst, like an ara ara. The boy's too weak to use the monotunnel, and crossing through the forest or the desert doesn't seem like any better option. We came in here in such a rush that we completely forgot to bring any extra water. Molly slowly taps her lips as she focuses on trying to bring a solution for the problem at hand. I have a food truck.
I can make water. Back when I was standing guard at the gateway to Tekduin, Paran told me about his misadventures trying to care for his younger siblings, and he mentioned something that might be applicable here. It was about how the coconuts in the coconut tree, but the coconut is not a nut, it's the cocoa fruit. Doo-doo, it's the cocoa fruit of the cocoa tree. Of the cocoa palm family. Ay, 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 ay. I'm sorry. I can't get that song out of my head. It was about how the coconuts in Erie are useful for treating those suffering from dehydration. They're conveniently potable, and their sweet taste makes them a favorite among children. Ah, that's right. I always used to carry a few with me when I was traveling through the desert. Unfortunately for us, we don't have any on hand. Do you think you could go get some? Once you've brought them, it'll take me only a couple minutes to prepare them for him. Riel gives me a pleading look as she tends to the weakened boy. Yes, I know you're looking now. Hi! It looks like you need to gather some coconuts for Muriel. A pro tip for everyone else, if you need to get coconuts, Squabtuin is definitely the best place to get them. Here, I brought the coconuts. I come prepared. Wow, you sure didn't waste any time, did you? Now, let's see those coconuts. She quickly and efficiently prepares the coconuts I brought. You need 10 of them. It takes only a couple minutes to get them in Squabtuin. Don't do outside of Killa. It will take you much longer. Divine link with a pet and just hit the trees on the Squabtuin beach. It will go very, very fast. And it's free. Oh, the cocoa pump. Okay, here you go. You must be so thirsty after all that. That's the way, nice and slow. I don't want you to end up coughing and sputtering. The young elf takes a coconut and begins to drink his water in quick little gulps. Soon after, the sound of his breathing starts to even out. Phew, that's a relief. He was in a bad way, but the color's starting to come back to his face. I'm glad to see it. And what's more, I think you should have recovered enough of his strength now to use the monotunnel. So, shall we head back to Philia? I'm sure his friend is eagerly awaiting his homecoming. We should hurry back with the good news. Before we go... Ari, while you were bringing this boy back from the ruins, you didn't happen to see anything odd or unusual, did you? That boy fell into the rift in Philia and ended up in the ruins dungeon. It stands to reason that the other side of the rift must be in there somewhere. Wow! Congrats! You have the #1 spot again! Congratulations! Do I have a donation one? I had one, but I blanked it out because I was like, surely I won't be getting any. And then people are so kind. And it's just like, I'm amazed. Congrats on the #1 spot, Ronnie. Ooh, wow! Wow, Archilliman takes #2. Wow, you all are amazing. Thank you. This is amazing. Thank you both so much. Wow. Okay. Thank you. Really? If the boy fell into the rift in Philia and ended up in the ruins dungeon, it stands to reason that the other side of the rift must be in there somewhere. Did you happen to see it? All the excitement over finding the boy alive. I forgot to share. I saw stuff going to the dungeon. The Order of the Black Moon got rid of this object on purpose and then just left? How bizarre. That raises so many questions. We should return to town and tell the others. We can see what they think about the item you discovered too. I would be glad to hear that the rift in Philia disappeared when it was closed on our end, but if it isn't, I presume Enya is continuing to keep it stabilized. I missed something. Might be okay, but we should presume that it's no big deal. We should be getting back, James. Here, I'll help support him. Rio slides gently. She helps and encourages the young elf to walk toward the monotunnel. Let's go back to Philia. Wow. Y'all are amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, right. There's no background, so we can do this.
sense and sentiment.
Whoa, you really brought the kid back safe and sound. I knew you could do it, Ari. The little girl has been worried sick this whole time. It's such a relief. When I heard the boy had been missing for several days, I tried to prepare myself for the worst. But he looks much better than I expected. I'm glad, but how did he make it that long?
And on top of that, the rift here in town also vanished suddenly. The other elves who were investigating the area have already returned home. Dream, did you destroy the rift from the other side somehow? And alone at that? Were you able to neutralize it without my aid? And he looks at me bewildered. No, I went in there and then the Black Moon people just closed it on their own. I don't know.
The Order of the Black Moon? One thing I can say with near certainty is that they don't do anything that doesn't benefit them somehow. If they closed the rift, they had a good reason for doing so.
You can say that again, but what's their game this time? With everything that's happened so far, I get the feeling that this night is a whole different beast from what came before.
Events are already unfolding in an entirely different direction from what I remember reading in the Book of Revelations. I guess it's because so many things have happened that they fail to predict. Particularly the fact that those charged with overseeing the knights have been felled, one by one.
This is just my guess, but I suspect these trials they refer to as knights may be just for show at this point. I've seen enough of these rifts now that I've begun to notice that each time one appears, the energy in their surrounding area grows more and more unstable. Perhaps this is what Lemelark warned me about. I stand committed to doing all I can to stop it, but I'm afraid there's still something important I'm missing. She glances towards me, her pale green eyes set with apprehension. A brief look at the others revealed that they saw her trepidation. Alright, let's go everyone, we can figure it out! Together, we got this! It's true that no details of the Order of the Black Moon's plans have been revealed and the purpose of the Knights have been orchestrated remains murky at best, but even so, we can't just stand it alone and watch it happen. We got this. We can figure it out together. She's right. Speaking for myself, I have been watching from the sidelines for far too long, but now I have no choice but to act and the will to see it through. We are not people who must trample under other foot to get ahead. I believe we are capable of finding deeper meaning in our lives without embracing such self-centered ideals.
Well said. If there were something I wished for, but could only hope to obtain at the expense of countless others, I'd rather give it up entirely.
And even if we see no immediate solution, what then? Are we to simply admit defeat? I think not. As Ari said, we must keep looking for what we can do.
I refuse to stand by and do nothing. As devout followers, I wouldn't be surprised if their goal was to call forth Heimerarch. I've purged myself of so much, ever since I was little. My memories, my emotions, my standards of judgment, my ability to even question things. I was raised with the sole purpose of being used in the final operation.
What in the world did they do to you? I was also raised in service to one of the gods, but to hear you speak of your past, it sounds unbearable.
Maybe so, but even in the midst of that upbringing, there was someone who helped me. And so I was able to leave that life behind and came to know all of you. The Order of the Black Moon won't be able to carry out their original plan as easily anymore.
Hey, wait a second, Dream. Didn't you say that you discovered some strange object in the ruins while you were searching for the boy? Riel's timely question reminds me that I picked up a fragment. Here, everyone, look at this. Look at this photograph.
Could this object be a windfall or a trick? You said it looked like Bimnak dropped it there on purpose, right? I don't sense anything particularly odd about it. Besides, I don't think he's the type who'd bait a trap with something like this.
Ari, may I see it for a moment? She clasps it in her fingers, quietly chanting an incantation, and then... Flashbang! There. That should make it possible to read a little of what it contains. I'm sure that with a little study, we can tease out a clue or two.
Wow, I didn't know you could do stuff like that, Enya. I always thought Merlin was the only one who could.
Limelark has bestowed much upon me, even some abilities that I never wanted in the first place, so that I would have the strength to serve. This is but one of many such abilities I've been given. I can tell you more later at the Pontiff's court if you're curious, but we have more pressing matters to deal with at the moment. We should see what we can glean from that thing straight away. In the meantime, I'll take the child back to town.
Understood. Dream, let's see what secrets we can extract from our little find.
It's dense now. I heft it with both hands. There's something altogether abnormal about it, piquing my curiosity. Beyond the many mysteries it may hold, there's also something about it that gives me an unshakable sense of déjà vu. I've just been in this place before. I get the impression that I'll be able to find out what happened if I focus my mind on the stone. And he hands me the stone fragment. I focus all my energies on it, and within my mind's eye, a scene begins to coalesce into my view. Considering who left the fragment, it's very likely this memory is tied to the Order of the Black Moon. Here the Yosef is a young girl, calm and clearly pleased. What a relief! Bodless, precious belongings are finally back in my care. I was worried I'd never get them back. And yet they found their way back to me, just as I had hoped. Perhaps this shows that Fadla is watching over me. I can't keep from smiling. But I need to stay level-headed, no matter how smoothly the plan appears to be proceeding. Perfection is achieved only by those who neglect not even the smallest detail. The girl turns her gentle gaze towards the sky, then slowly turns and strolls down the steps. Now, the question of the hour is, what should I do with you? How long do you really think you can go on laughing like that? Quiet. Fadla would never say something so stupid. She's wise and perceptive. She finds solutions and gets results faster than anyone. I just don't understand. Why? Why you? Someone who doesn't know anything at all! And yet you were lavished with so much love, so much undeserved love. Just because of the meaningless bonds of blood. And it's because of you. If it weren't for you, Fadla wouldn't have... No. I must control myself. Even if I don't understand, I still...
Okay, so I'm confused here. How are you the ones who have that book?
Didn't I tell you to shut up? Don't push me. I hear the sound of someone crumpling into a heap on the ground before Durbo.
I feel like she's completely insane and she keeps switching between like happy, completely like fuming mad, and like just kind of all over the place.
Durbo, just shut up! Who are you to lecture me? I already know the precious value of the blood that flows through these veins. But one more boon I would ask. Once this is all over, I was promised I would be reconciled with her. So until then...
I see you've gone too far to renege on your oath.
Oh? What a spiteful greeting, Limeneck. It fits you. It's only natural to follow the Great One's will, and that's what Fadla would have wanted me to do.
I see that the ghost of her memory still keeps its iron hold over you.
Ah, but that's where you're only half right. Before long, I'll be at her side once more. But more to the point, everything has been prepared. You showed up right on time. The one I mentioned last time has completed the test, and thanks to that, I can say with confidence that the last phase will proceed without a hitch.
Well, finally, some good news. It appears that preparations on this end are complete as well. Are those the materials that have the power to hold the flow in stasis?
Indeed they are. These materials have already been imbued into the bloodline of their race once before, making it possible to not only stop the flow, but reverse it. The first was made possible with the little bit that Father left behind for us. With what we have now, we should have no issues carrying out the ritual as planned.
At any rate...
Barnack lazily scans the area, then picks up a white stone near his feet.
What a sight. To imagine I'd see such a thing in my homeland. But I thought the transfer wasn't yet complete. Am I right in thinking that the connection will be through Belvast?
You are? Our tight schedule necessitated that we alternate the openings between the town, the ravine, and here. I require a little longer to engrave the mark that will complete the process. It's a necessary step if the ritual is to succeed. However, it's now only a matter of time. Now all we have to do left is wait.
Then we ought to use this time to ensure we tie up any loose ends. If we've been careless, those bastards will surely pick up on any clues left behind. I can't stand it when things aren't wrapped up cleanly.
Yes, please take care of that. Though, even if they do discover what we're doing, they're too late to do anything about it.
You sound so sure of yourself, considering their past victories. On what basis do you feel so confident this plan of yours won't go awry? How can you say such a thing? In case you forgot, your name has been spread across the land thanks to that thing you summoned at the human monarch's castle. The Great One made it clear that appropriate restitution was to be made, not something on the level of another knight. But it would be a shame to let her passing go unanswered, would it not? Shouldn't we do it for old time's sake? I'm sure our new Inquisitor feels the same. I have only myself to blame for engaging with you at all. Devil, I'm off to sweep away any traces of our experiment.
Farewell, Sethlin. As for you, Barnack, isn't it getting harder for you to wander about in the open? As Sethlin was saying, I'm sure the inquiring minds of the world have a great many questions now that something that isn't supposed to exist has been revealed to them. Your role is to adorn the grand finale. Nothing more, nothing less. Of course, by that time, I'm sure I'll have things well in hand. No one will ever strike a deal more futile than yours, Barnack. You should have just accepted what you really wanted.
Come now, there's no fun to be had in simply submitting to the will of another. But I concede your point. To find a reason to tread the pathways of this world once more during the first night, only for its adequacy to wane again during the last.
What goes around comes around.
No matter. Whatever else may come to pass, I've been promised a final showdown regardless.
Can I take that to mean I can put the Militia through whatever hell I want? As far as executives go, you're certainly a strange one. I'm sure that Father would have found this talk as amusing as I do. As things stand, I now have the materials I need, and the goal of linking this place with both Belvast and the ravine has been accomplished. This level of divinity should be more than enough. Now we just have to wait for them to come, and you can be sure they will. Barnack, if you'd like, you could also... at that place. The voices begin wavering, growing more faint as they fade into the distance. These are all the memories I'm able to glean from the stone tower. Whoever was taken by Durble and the others from the Black Moon, it seems that... Oh no, my legs are weak, arms too heavy. I'm shuddering. I need to go back to the Aces in Belfast, talk to the culinary artist, get some spaghetti. Oh, Muriel? Ari, can you hear me?
You are awake. Oh, thank heavens. I was so worried. Your face is so pale. What did you see?
My debris crumbled to dust. I barely managed to prop myself up. My head is throbbing. I feel like there's a crushing weight on my head. Are you sure you're all right? Do you feel strange in any way?
Ugh, my vision is blurry, but it's gradually clearing up.
I tell everyone about what I saw in the fragment and urge that everyone check in Belvast at once. So, the Order of the Black Moons connected Belvast, the ravine, and a new location? I was just about to send a message to Bater, so I'll alert him immediately. We should aim to have everyone meet in Belvast to discuss what we'll do going forward.
While you were delving through the memories in that chunk of debris, we received word that Vales is now safe, at least for the time being. It bothers me that they managed to secure this thing they mentioned. I have no clue what it is, of course, but it sounded like while we were running around dealing with the rifts, they were able to finish preparing everything they need to bring their plans to fruition.
And this new location you mentioned certainly doesn't strike me as an ordinary place. I could sense something odd about that debris from the moment I saw it. The question is, what is they planning to do there?
The stone fragment you had seems likely to have come from some sort of structure there. Whatever the case may be, we should get to Belvast as quickly as we can. If something's going to happen there, or if it's already happened, every hour counts. After all, Derville isn't one to waste time when she sets her sights on something.
Over here, Paran faintly mumbling something. An ominous shadow now looms over us. Let's go to Belvast. Gotta go fast.
I wish the, quests would autocomplete. Is it gonna do the weird thing where it's like, complete this quest before you go to Belvast? Please talk to someone else. Okay, no. Let's just go to Belvast. Actually, probably they might get this quest. I feel kind of bad for Derwell. She just feels like so unstable now. And it seems like Bimnek is like sabotaging everyone behind the scenes. It feels like he is willing to like throw the knights under the bus just to get the one fight that he wants. Like him like talking about like, oh, all of these knights and building up and then only petering out at the end. It feels like he's intentionally aiming for that. Just to like, I don't know, like it feels like he doesn't have any motivation to live, and it's like he wants to be killed, but he wants to like get some enjoyment out of messing with people while he's at it.
A woman stands in front of me, her features sharp and aquiline. Silky golden hair flows behind her, and her arms are crossed. She looks confident, almost noble. She has one turquoise eye and one violet eye, each with the same lively sparkle in their depths.
I think that leaving behind this fragment to like actively tell us, like, hey, by the way, you should head to Belvast because Durbo has finished setting up and is about to activate the thing, could be considered sabotage. Like he's actively leaving clues for us at this point. Like him riling them up in general, that's just who he is, so that makes sense. But I'm just saying, like, at the point when you start actively leaving clues for your enemies, I think that is the definition of sabotage.
Hey, Adari. Good of you to show up. Since I was just about to reach out to you. Saves me the trouble of having to write a letter. Hey, did something happen? You look kind of shaken. Whatever it's about, I want to hear from you first. And it's not just that look on your face that's giving you away. You didn't think my shadowy little friend wouldn't pick up on your bad vibes, did you?
Iron, we've just returned from investigating the rift in Philia. In the process of dealing with the predicament there, she discovered a troubling clue. The thing is, though, the Knights have also diverged from the Book of Revelations. Like, they're no longer fully predestined. Troubling? How so? Don't keep me in suspense now. I didn't sprint all the way here from Vales just for the exercise.
Describe the memory I've witnessed to everyone. As I relate the tale, I notice someone is missing. So whatever the reason is for repeatedly opening these rifts, it's related to something in Belvast? Hey, just so you know, Jay and Hunter never came back from that reconnaissance mission they were on when you were last there.
What? But aren't those two strong enough to waltz through the ravine with their eyes closed?
They are, but the fact remains, they haven't come back. After it felt like they'd been gone way too long, Merlin got to answer that he stormed off, saying he'd drag them back personally. Stormed off to the ravine beyond the cliff? This doesn't add up. It definitely sounds like it was your companions that Ari saw in those memories, but why would the two who vanished in the ravine be there?
And he gazes uneasily over the town and toward the misty Mykonus cliffs. I'm willing to bet anything that, like, due to the whole blood hunt and stuff like that, they've been captured. Or at least Hunter's been captured again.
Everything I've heard makes the Toy Ravine out to be a terribly grim and ghastly place. Do you think they might have fallen into an unexpected trap? Though, even if they had, I can't see how they would have been bested by our enemies so easily.
Trust me, we want to find them just as much as you do. But with guards going missing and residents of the city being injured by the rift, we can't leave the town unguarded either.
I have faith that Merlin will do everything in his power to bring Jay and Hunter back from the ravine. But still, something about all of this just doesn't feel right. Like there's something terrible on the horizon. I feel much the same. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end as soon as I set foot in this town, in the same way they do when I'm close to a rift. I'm sure it has something to do with why your companions have not yet returned. My guess is that a rift emerged in there, connected to the place from Ari's vision.
My thoughts exactly. Starlet and I were speculating about this just before you arrived, and we both figured a rift must have appeared in the ravine while they were still there. But here's what I don't get. If a rift popped up there, shouldn't the other end be connected to somewhere here in town?
But in Dream's vision, they only saw one of your companions. So what happened to the other one?
That's right. If Iron and Starlight were instantly sent back to Belvast when they were pulled into the rift in the ravine, then...
We combed through the whole town and didn't find so much as a pothole, let alone a rift. It seems awfully strange.
But what if a single rift could be used to travel to multiple locations? That's possible, but we can't assume so without evidence to back it up. I'm afraid that if we all fan out and search different places, someone might be caught alone in dangerous circumstances.
Your caution is well founded. I think our best option right now is to split into two groups. One group will search the ravine, while the other stays and safeguards Belvast. Things might be quiet here now, but we can't risk another rift appearing in town. I'm certain the Admiral will want some of us here just in case.
At least having you guys here puts my mind at ease. I saw for myself how capable you all are during that dust up at the Royal Castle. I'm going to join the team going to the ravine. I'm dying to find out where our missing persons went and what's been keeping them. The city should be safe with Starlet and the culinary artist leading the defense team.
Haran, you should probably stay in Belvast too. We need a representative from the expeditionary force here in case something happens or we receive a message from the Royal Castle. And because, frankly, the ravine is too dangerous a place for you. The last time you were there, well, it wasn't pretty.
Miss Marley,
you're not wrong in your assessment. It is probably for the best that I stay here, but... Hearing Marlene's gently couched request for him to stay behind, Perron hangs his head. Some moments pass before he speaks again, his voice now quiet. Dream, if you see that kid at the ravine... no, I'm sorry. Just forget I said anything. I don't even know what I'm trying to say myself.
Aw, there. I'll look after him, so don't worry. I know you'll do great holding down the fort here.
Starlet drew closer to Perron, giving him a comforting pat on the shoulder. Pat, pat. His trembling subsides at her touch. I'm okay, honest. It's just that whenever I remember things about my time in the Order, I feel like I'm suffocating. Sorry to worry you, but please be careful out there.
You don't have to worry about a thing. We'll keep everyone safe for you.
Thank you. It's very reassuring to hear that. Now then. Marley looks at everyone in this force, each in turn. This is no time to faff about. We need to move quickly, especially if there really is a rift there. I just pray that Merlin was able to safely make contact with the others.
Me too. Anyway, good luck, you three. Make sure Belvast stays in one piece while we're gone.
Alright, let's do this!
The Terror takes long, confident strides towards the cliff. The rest of the expeditionary force follows him to the ravine. Ooh. Ooh. Old blood.
Oh, there's a rift in the ravine for sure. Things quest. Spoiler. Oh yeah, I like Belvast's music too. Tory Ravine also has like a very nice ominous theme.
Can I get a location check? Let me actually make it show up on the map. Yes, I can.
I feel like that actually ended up backfiring.
No.
Probably about equidistant, honestly.
Hello. There's a rift. Let's jump into it. Just as I suspected, it's there.
Yes, I do. I just needed to look at the map. I just keep forgetting to pull up the map. And since I was right there, I was just like, well, it's a convenient location. Looks like our hunch was spot on, which means that the monsters that have been attacking the town were getting through that. There's one thing that doesn't add up, though. If there's a rift open here in the ravine, why didn't we see one in Belvast? Thank you for the reminder, Archie. Could it be that the point on the other side of this rift connects to is being moved somehow? It seems improbable, but maybe it's getting too weak to sustain a complete connection? That might explain why we can only see one side right now.
I guess that could be the case, but... wait a minute. Hypothetically, if we were to jump into this rift, where do you suppose we'd end up? Maybe Belvast? I don't know. I don't think it would be Belvast.
But I also don't want to just randomly say, like, another, like... I guess it's better than just ignoring her question. Back to Belvast, maybe? We say maybe, but shouldn't it be exactly that? After all, Starlet and I were shot through the rift following that exact path. If you were to step into a rift, not even knowing where the other side connected to, you could find yourself in a real pickle. Even a willing rescue party wouldn't know where to start their search. Well, what if someone just stuck their pinky in, you know? Just to be sure?
Absolutely not. Even the briefest moment of physical contact will pull you in with irresistible force. Enya, you'll be focused on keeping the rift stabilized like you usually do, right?
And if you are, Dream will be okay, right? Even Vitara is now glancing from me to Enya with a worried look on his face. I can't predict what will happen, but I'll do my best to keep her out of danger. If I sense even the slightest hint that something is wrong, I'll pull her back straight out away. That means you need to stay focused on my voice, okay, Dream? There are still so many rifts elsewhere that need to be dealt with. If we were to lose you... well, there's just too much at stake for that to happen, so I'm going to give this all I have. You can trust me. Enya seems even more earnest than usual as she approaches the rift. Let's go! I dive in. Crossing my fingers in the hope that I'll get spit out somewhere in Belvast, I jump in. I also like the hieroglyphic clovers. I have a feeling I know how to make it.
I kind of want to make her glyph, but at the same time I like my snowflake glyph. Licking previous steps into the wrist, this time a prickling pain spreads through my body as I sink through the murky darkness. No question that this is feeling pretty different and that something might be wrong. As the aching pain suddenly subsides, I begin to feel the oppressive atmosphere weighing down on me and my servant. At the same moment, I feel the bite of cold air on my cheeks. I open my eyes and look around. Where am I? Where is this? It's not Belfast, but I'm certain that I know this place. This looks like, the place where you get the relics. Valias? Valias? Ari, can you hear me? It seems like it's taking you longer to respond to me than usual. Let's try to really minimize how long you're in there this time. It's odd, but I can't clearly visualize where you are this time. I can sense, however faintly, is that wherever you are, it feels very pure, almost sacred. All I can tell you right now is that it isn't Belfast. You're not in imminent danger, right? Then, okay, then take a quick look around and see if you can find the Rift Nexus. By now, you know what to do, right? Just cast the Great Holy Flame into the Nexus and you're done. I'll get you out of there the moment the Rift traces have vanished. Since you keep taking longer to respond, well... Never mind. Just don't forget to let me know the instant something happens, okay? She sounds a bit nonplussed, but her concern is still clear. It's similar to Felias, but something about it feels foreign. First, let's deal with the hospitals nearby. What do you mean you can reach this place on foot? To me, this just feels like Felias. Can I kill you easily? Let's just instill thunder. Boink. 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 Hello? Oh, there's more over there. Boink. They're like oddly spread out. I haven't been to Felias in a long time. I should try to get a wave sweeper. I've tried a couple of times, but I've either like failed to restore it or I got like the worst restoration possible. And I'm too cheap to like spend the what? Like 180 mil to buy one that's already like pre-made. Having defeated the Berserk Iron Bars, a Plitchback Rift materializes before me. Let's use the Holy Flame quickly and get out of here as soon as I can. One pervasive thought fills my mind. I don't want to be here any longer than I have to be. That's why I used Final Hit and teleported around. I'm getting squirms. I hurl the Holy Flame into the release nexus and watch its light slowly dim as it falls deeper into the abyss for what seems like an eternity. The now familiar pain creeps back over me, putting me on the verge of blacking out again. At the same time, I feel my feet leaving the ground as my surroundings begin spinning. I hear two people talking. Hi, I'm Ari. Nice to meet you. I thought you might be amenable to my request, but as you see, I can see you don't have much longer to live. Still, if you've made it all the way here, you must be at least a little interested in my story. What an obnoxious brat. You must not realize that with little time comes little patience. You say you have valuable information that I can't ignore? Out with it then! Before long, this sanctified place will be disturbed. There are some who wish to exploit the powerful divinity that permeates these lands. I've been watching them silently for a long time, but as you know, I cannot leave here. This place is under my care, and I'd like to prevent it from being ravaged. That's why I thought it would be nice to have someone throw a bit of a wrench into their plans, even if only a little. Listen here, whelp. Which part of that has any meaning to me? It's clear you're acting only in your self-interest. Or is it there's something more that you're trying to hide? If you know what's good for you, you'll spit it out. You yourself said I don't have much time left, and that lack of time makes me even more loath to waste a single moment. I caught a glimpse of what it is they're after. That's how I know that their methods require some very special blood. You wouldn't want the last traces of your master's bloodline to vanish from this world without a trace, would you? You may have a cherub's face, but you are really every inch an imp, aren't you? I suppose it's not for no reason you're known as the Wave of Death. But know this, if there's so much as an ounce of deceit in your words, I'll rip your tongue out at the root and set it on fire in front of you.
That's an interesting insult. Compellingly violent, but pointless, for one like me whose existence is tethered to this place. What is death but another beginning? Time is running out. I'll try my best to hold them off, but sooner or later, this place will be awash in their darkness. I've told you what I can. You can either trust my word or disregard it. Either way, this tale only has two possible ends.
A special kind of blood.
Indeed, specifically the blood of the only interples capable of not only defying the flow, but countering it. With the divinity of these lands, the needed blood, and another vessel, this world will soon be thrown into chaos.
So they intend to use it to sow discord, do they? I see.
Either way, the choice is yours, and soon.
The two continue talking, but the scene suddenly becomes indistinct and recedes far into the distance. As if in response, a wave of almost unbearable stabbing pain hits me with brutal force. Oh no. Gah. Alright, answer me. I confirm that the holy flame has dispelled the rift. That means it's time for you to get out of there. What should I do? Someone has to go and do it. From inside.
You can hear the muted sound of her cries echoing through the empty air, but I'm too tired to even follow her voice.
Mumble, mumble. This isn't Enya's voice. It sounds like someone else entirely. Lost them, didn't you? Ian is there now.
To hear more, I realize that this voice is one I know very well. As the voice grows louder in my ear, the space spinning around me goes still. I feel the sensation of someone carefully helping me up. Is it Murmur? Who is approaching me? Oh, wait, I accidentally did it with the accent, but I said the female version. This is no place for one to lose their way. Space here is twisted and distorted, but all will be well.
It's Telvish. Since the person more the presence than a person, soon I feel myself swept up in an unlifting warmth. Huh? There's someone else in there with you. But how? Oh no, I still need to get you out of there. The disorienting fog seems to surround me is beginning to dissipate. The embrace of my mysterious helper feels warm and secure. Thankies.
Corgi can now rebirth. Boyd's childlike face is full of innocence. His dark blue eyebrows nearly touch the striking tattoo near his eye. A rosy hue marks the tip of his nose red, giving him a curious, rambunctious look. Gah! Those black-robed bastards! Stubborn as roaches and twice as foul! Vitor fumes as he stomps the ground in anger. His breathing is ragged and the sweat on his forehead is smudged with blood and dirt. He seems by all appearances to have fought a fierce battle. Phew! Dream, it's good to see you back safe. I'm so... relieved.
I'm so sorry, everyone. If only I'd been a little stronger. Nonsense. No one could have predicted that one of them would charge straight at you.
Still, how the heck did you get out of there, Dream? Judging by Enya's desperate shout, it seems like the link was almost broken thanks to those Black Moon thugs. She said someone would have to jump in and hold on to you to guide you back. I was just about ready to nominate myself for the flying leap into the rift. Some benevolent force must be watching over you, and that's a fact. I don't know what happened, but you're safe now, and that's what matters. That was really touch and go for a while. My focus on the rift was almost broken several times. I'm so sorry.
It's gonna be okay now, Enya. Dream, you should know that she was giving it all she had to hang on until you got back.
Upon closer inspection, Enya looks weakened and pale. She seems to have overexerted herself trying to keep the wreath stabilized for me. I don't know why, but during the fight I got this really bad feeling. Those black-hooded bastards kept glancing in that direction like they were expecting something. Makes me wonder if they've got some secret stash further in. I don't know, but I made sure to pound their faces in real good.
It's not just you. I got a similar feeling from them. They were acting like they were aware of something going in deeper in the ravine.
It's certainly possible. The Order is no stranger to nasty surprises. We ought to check it out ourselves.
Marley quickly shoots a glance at Enya, concerned about her condition. Oh, I'll be alright. Just a little fatigued, that's all. Whoopsie daisy. Just focus on putting one foot in front of the other, cutie. Iron whooshes over the couch, and as she stumbles, nearly falling over. I think I'll escort her back to town. The rift is gone and our friends are waiting, so we should let them know how things went here. Dream and the rest of you should do a little quick sweep further in, but don't linger too long before heading back. Sound good? You got it. Enya, you can pretend to be totally fine all you want, but it's obvious that you and Dream have been bearing the brunt of the strain since the very beginning. So please, go back and get some rest. I insist. Be sure to take good care of Enya, Aaron. Oh,
Must be all tapped out, tiny human. Not to worry. Leave this to your buddy Bertaire. I agree with everyone else. You ought to return to Belvast. Besides, I'm sure that Piran would appreciate the company.
Ugh. Thank you. And again, I'm sorry for how things turned out. A rosy blush spreads across her cheeks as she sincerely thanks everyone for the part they played. Oh, and let us know if you found anything weird in there. And if you happen to find Merlin or the others, bring him back straight away here. Anyhow, we're heading back. See you in Belvast.
Alright, time for us to get going too. I already gave those goons a good walloping, so I don't think we should have to worry about them for a while.
Hey, but Terre, you can't just take off like that.
Well, Dream, let's take a quick look around and get back as soon as we can. I don't want to keep the others waiting. Everyone seems strangely cheerful, as if to shake off the obvious sense of dread lingering in the air. Seems like we've been prompted into an impromptu inspection of the foreboding further reaches of the ravine.
Husbando, television.
That reminds me, I know someone who is working on making basically a Blender render model of television 3D. It looked really cool. It was a work in progress, but it looked like it was developing up really, really nicely. Once I get a little bit later in, I'll probably do another giveaway or something. Oh, cutscene. Think something's happening there, but we can't get over there.
The bridge is out. It's disappointing, but for now, we have no choice but to leave.
Oh.
Is this place for real? It looks so obviously sinister, even from here.
This must be that strange energy Enya and Starlet were talking about. Can't say I have any idea what lies ahead, but I've got a feeling in my gut that it's extremely dangerous. These cultists are up to something sinister, there's no mistaking it. First problem is this collapsed bridge here. How are we supposed to get across?
Well, it's not like we got through here in normal means in the first place. I'm sure we can figure something out, can't we?
Piran mentioned something like this while he was rambling once. Some story about how Merlin was able to repair a broken bridge like it was nothing. Then he was too scared to cross it because we're so high up. Well, I guess that last detail doesn't really help us. The point is Merlin was able to come up with a solution. Merlin? That white-haired human who loves to hear himself talk? But he's supposed to be a master wizard. Think he's got some kind of hammer and nail spell?
Whatever lies beyond? The Black Moon cultists we fended off earlier were keenly aware of it. Unfortunately for us, I don't think there's much we can do about it right now. We'll need to return to town and discuss this with everyone. And who knows, perhaps Merlin will already be there with that smug smile of his waiting for us. So let's get back to Belfast on the double.
Smells like a plan to me. If he's there, he'll be able to get us across somehow. Then we'll be able to stack those Black Road punks in their tracks.
Maybe. You don't want to take victory for granted with people as determined and conniving as them. Those lunatics have a habit of exceeding our expectations. And I mean that in the least admirable way possible. But yes, for now, we should head back and regroup. I'm sure that Dream would appreciate a breather after everything that's happened today. She gently reaches for my hand and leads me towards Belfast. Glance back at the area towards the Toy Ravine, shuddering slightly with this palpable aura of gloom and doom. Let's go back to Belfast and join our friends. And yes, Archie, I was talking about, one of my friends is working on a 3D render of Blender of Talvish. They're like making a Talvish for their friend. Because their friend is like, Talvish's best husbando! They're like, oh, as a present, I'm gonna make a Blender render. Something like that. It's pretty cool. They were showing it off. It's really cool. This was someone I actually know. And they shared it on Discord. I don't know if they also posted on Reddit or not. But it was a work in progress. They'd only gotten like the upper body done. For the most part. Like they were still working on the hair. But it was already looking like really good. I need a harmonic scene. To just... There are times when I feel like I want to warp all the way back over to the Arcana just to get, what do you call it? Oh, Hunter? Okay, yeah. This confirms that Hunter's been kidnapped. Cool. Now we know for sure. I'm curious. How close are we to finishing? Ooh. Another path. Keen eyes sparkle behind a face that betrays no emotion. Locks of black hair fall perfectly over the polished buttons of his immaculate coat, suggesting a man who strives for perfection.
Dream, how very nice to see you again.
Don't try to get up, Jay. You're still recovering.
I'm more worried about you, Starlet. Are you and Iron feeling well? The two of you were swallowed by the rift right before our eyes.
What? That's so news by now. Sounds like you've got quite a bit of catching up to do.
I'll be fine, given time. But before we discuss anything else, I should tell everyone what befell me in the review.
I take it that'll help explain what's got Merlin so hot under the collar right now.
We were holding down the fort here in town when Merlin came back with G in tow. Oh, I guess it'd be more accurate to say that he brought the professor back slung over his shoulder. But even before that, we've been anxious to know what happened in the ravine.
Cast a sidelong glance at Merlin, his brows furrowed as he broods over some unpleasant thoughts, piercing eyes glaring into the empty distance.
Excuse me for interrupting, but where's Hunter? Did he not come back with you?
There, Pinky. I'm really worried too, but we've got to be patient and hold out hope, okay? I'm glad that you like our voice. Thank you, Archulina. Pinky lets out another sad yell while Iron embraces the sorrowful gorilla tiger.
If there's blame to be assigned, it lies with me. I knew he was nervous and that his mood left him perhaps too open, too vulnerable. All the warning signs were there. I should have been prepared for the worst, but I wasn't. Hence, this present situation in which we find ourselves.
Let's talk about it. Professor J clears his throat and starts to describe what happened in the ravine. Oh, RP mission.
Gah, that portal. Every time I travel through it, I feel sick. Nothing that thunderbrain Twitter makes ever works properly.
You think so? Personally, I find a hint of danger spices things up. And considering how long ago it was made, I'm impressed it's still in working order. Merlin must have put some real effort into setting it up.
Indeed, and it looks as though the contaminated area has been purified slightly as well. Merlin is the mischievous sort, and he can be trying at the best of times. But he is capable of accomplishing great things once he puts his mind to it.
Yeah, I bet Hunter's secretly impressed. Right, Pinky?
Hey, Pinky, you're really ready to go, huh?
Oh no! Good luck on finishing your deployment. It's been a while since our last patrol, so I can see why she's excited to get out and explore.
We're not here for a fun romp, Pinky. There are a number of places we need to investigate. That's why we called you to. Right, I want to give that altar in there a thorough inspection. Last time I found this strange book there, but a few pages had been torn out. Can't tell for whether someone's playing a practical joke or trying to bait me, but for whatever reason I can't get it out of my mind.
Alright, Aaron and I will take another route. Starlet!
Watch out, you two! Hey, what's going on?
Don't get too close. This is...
Great, just what we needed. That damn rift is back for an encore! This must be the other side of the one that appeared in Belvast. Hope it's not too much to ask that they made it through and were deposited back somewhere safe in the city.
Thank you, Rebecca! Thank you! I was setting up Lurk and then I realized I didn't have time today. Like, I literally got home and it was already time to stream and I was like, oh god. Today was kind of rough. I'm gonna set it up right now though. Alright. Okay, let me see if this works. Let's see. How does this work? I'm almost done setting it up. Oh. Okay, there. Lurk works now. It should. Okay, there.
Wait, Pinky says there's someone over there. Yeah, but no, I was just thinking here that the trip was too quiet, too easy. Should have known these black-coated punks would show their faces sooner or later. Come on, let's go. We'll clear them out, take a look around the altar, and get back to town and see if the girls made it alright. That seems reasonable. Let's take care of this quickly.
Okay. Chain cylinder. Are you... How are you... Why do you only have rank A production master? You are disappointing. That should be enough time to get chain cylinder back up. Flame burst. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get that. Ooh. Let's do that. Oh wait, no. Whoosh. Oh, I thought I was gonna hit all 3 of them. I made a miss. Oh, you have lots of mana. I mean HP. Wow. Doink. Doink. It should be triple. Oh, there we go. Wow. Hunter's actually pretty good. Whoosh. Whoosh. Hunter. What? Why? Why would you do that? Why does he... Ugh. I lost chain cylinder. Oh no. Alright, let's sandblast the archer in the back.
this isn't too bad. I usually don't like using alchemy that much, but this isn't bad. Oh wow, okay.
Phew, I think that takes care of most of them, but the rift remains. Why don't we go back to town to see how things are there? Well, if the girls went, I don't expect they'll show up back here. Wait, I want to take out the altar before we go. After all, that's why we came here in the first place. I know, Pinky. I'm worried too. They're strong enough to handle themselves when the chips are down. So this shouldn't take long. I'm positive what's been bothering me is just around the corner. Best be quick about it. No reason to loiter in our enemy's stronghold any longer than is necessary. Bah, you think Iron and Stalin are all right. And speak of the devil, looks like we've got company. More of those damned cultists. Ah, they never stop, do they?
Hey! Now I can go.
Oh good, they're all grouped up.
Let's chain cylinder.
And flame burst on them while they're still grouped up.
Please don't fan out. Please don't fan out.
How is your flame reach that narrow?
Hunter, please do something. Ooh.
Oh, that one's almost done. And frozen next to
Oh, okay then. Hand back off.
Let's do transmutation. Oh, right!
Yes, we can.
Let's do eliminate wave shock. Wait. Okay, I didn't lose the elemental wave, but I did lose the shock. Feels bad. How are you missing? Excuse me? Oof. Aaron's record bundle? How do you have random Curvine liquid? Oh wait, y'all are just archery. I'll save it for the next wave. Okay. Super Heat Buster! Go!
You want to take a close look at the altar, right? I'll make a sweep of the area while you do that. Let's make it quick and head back. Alright, thanks, Pinky. Wait here for a moment. I knew it! So the missing pages are here, and they contain the most important part, a family tree. There's another name above mine. Two names, actually. Weird, there's something written at the very top. Why? Why can't I read it? Is something amiss? You shouldn't rub your eyes so hard. It can ruin your vision. Sorry, it's just... for some reason my vision got all blurry just now. What is this?
Poor... I'm expecting this to be by Nick.
Poor thing. You weren't even allowed to read the name, were you?
Oh, it's Durable.
Who goes there?
Okay.
What?
I scarcely know what to say. I expected you to come sooner or later, but to have made it this easy? You really don't know anything, do you?
Wait, you're... those clothes! You were with that woman in Tara, right?
That woman?
How dare you refer to her like that? It's because of you that she...
No. I must remain calm and exercise control.
If you were looking for a sign not to leave, I believe this is it.
Yeah!
Pinky! Hey, are you okay?
Don't worry. I have no use for them. It's you I need.
The hell are you talking about? You really think I'm gonna listen to you?
I do. Or was it your curiosity about that part that you couldn't read just before, just a passing fancy? Do you wish to know what it says? What it means for you? Come with me, and I will tell you everything. Everything you've ever wanted to know. You recognized me right away, didn't you? I've been closer to follow than anyone.
Don't listen to her, Hunter. The danger is too great. There will be other chances to find out. Other ways. Hey, I'll go with you, alright? So call off your goons. Not like you were gonna give me a choice. I can see how it is, but you've got to swear you'll leave him unarmed. There better not be a scratch on him.
You didn't have to put it so crassly, but at least you're quick to understand, just like Fabla. Very well, I accept your terms.
No, you don't have to do this. Sorry, Pinky, but going is too dangerous for you. This is one trip I've got to fly solo. And Professor, tell that thundering idiot. Tell Merlin that I'll try my best not to forget our promise. And, well, never mind. Just tell him that. What? Wait, don't go.
You do blather on, don't you? It's growing annoying. Yeah. Good.
Hey, what's with this? I told you not to touch him.
Know your place. Do you think you're in a position to order me around? If you'd simply cooperated from the beginning, this would have gone much more smoothly. But I suppose I have a soft spot for those eyes. You look so much like her, it's unsettling. I was promised. Once all of the knights have fallen, I would see her smiling face again. You look so similar to her, it'll be like nothing changed at all. You'll be lacking in blood, yes, but that can be dealt with. I'll bet Fadla will be so happy when she realizes she's come back in that body.
No, I can't keep my eyes open. This can't be happening. Ugh.
And so you passed out. And you lost the funky monkey again. Congratulations, you have achieved nothing. You understand nothing. Okie dokie. Now, Starlet. Whisper Sapphire's peer out from under a mane of artfully messy black locks. Her posture, her demeanor, her outfit all speak to a bottomless well of charisma. When she hums, you feel like you could take on the world. So that's it. Hunter decided to join the Order of the Black Moon. Hunter's always been searching for anything that might help him learn more about who he is or where he came from. And that's been true since well before our paths first crossed. That constant quest for the truth is something extremely precious to him. Of course, I also know why he has a tendency to neglect his own needs. That's why I can never take my eyes off him. I've heard he's quite skilled at gathering information. Maybe he went to the Order to discover some crucial secrets he could then share with us.
But would he even know that the Order of the Black Moon is... Even he would know that the Order of the Black Moon is not to be underestimated. Why'd he go with them alone? He discovered something in the ravine that drew his attention. He must have been wrestling with this decision for a long time, weighing whether he had to will, or what it might cost. And now he has finally gone with them alone, where he cannot follow.
I suppose the most that we can do now is hope for the best. But we'll have to have a stern chat with him when he gets back.
Agreed. I'm sure that he had his reasons, but it seems selfish not to consider what that decision would mean to his companions, who obviously had no say in the matter or any chance to dissuade him. And then there's that insatiable restlessness of not being able to do anything but wait. The closer you are to whatever you're waiting, and whoever you're waiting for, the heavier it weighs on you. Waleed's voice trails off and an uneasy sense of apprehension hangs in the air.
I've already got too much on my plate. Everything was already a mess before that idiot decided to heap that onto the pile. Whatever. I'm sure he can take care of himself. Besides, if anything goes wrong, I'll know anyway.
Merlin?
Come on, Starlet, I'm fine. I'm Merlin, the greatest mage of all time. It'll take a lot more than this to faze me. Promises are meant to be kept after all. He and I have an agreement, so I'm sure that's what he's counting on. All this mooping is making my head spin. Why not just wait for him to come back and ask him yourself? Is it really helping anything to just keep speculating? By the way, we saw something real weird inside the ravine. You can tell just from the look of that place that those black hooded goons are plotting something real shady.
That's right. Within the deepest reaches of the ravine was a broken bridge, and across it, so many thunders, all of the booms, so many bad things. It's scary up there, and it's dangerous to go alone. Oh, by the way, while I was in there, I saw Philias. I can't help but feel that this is part of something much bigger than we thought. There are just too many pieces that don't fit together. Iron and Starlet traveled through the rift in the ravine, and that rift was connected to Belvast, right? And after that, Merlin went to the ravine alone to search for Professor J and the treasure hunter. Right, I recall him leaving in a huff, spouting something about how he couldn't stand to wait another second, as I recall. Wait, something about that account doesn't add up. What's not adding up? G said he was in the middle of a fight, and then Merlin showed up not too long after, and... Oh, now I get it! After Iron and I got back to town, Merlin was with us for quite a while.
Exactly. How could Merlin have gotten so quickly to me after we were separated from the two of you? From the timeline of events as I understand them, he would have had to have found me before he even departed to search for me.
It doesn't make sense. G said that he was certain that Merlin arrived when he was still in the thick of the battle.
Wait a second. So that sense of dread I felt was... Dream, you said Philias inside the rift, right? That means you saw those black-robed bastards scheming something in the realm of the gods! Yeah, alright. So then the ruins in the rifts kept getting bigger was... using the power of the divine. Could it be that... Could it be we got lucky?
Merlin stares at me as he scratches his own chin with one hand, deep in the inscrutable nebula of his own thoughts. After pondering for a while, he grunts, decisively raises one hand, then flicks his fingers.
Yowza, that's bright, but also kind of amazing. What'd you just do?
Oh my, what was that? Merlin, you're just full of surprises, aren't you?
Nothing special. Time was right, so I just sent up a signal. Iron Starlet, I need you to go check out the ravine for me. I think there's a good chance our sticky-fingered turncoat left someone behind for us to find.
Oh, are we going on a treasure hunt? Well, that seems apropos, considering the circumstances. Come on, Pinky. Are you ready to find your runaway owner? Kiki? Ookie? Alright, we'll let you know the moment we find anything that might be related to Hunter.
Oh, and about the professor? Culinary artist. Can you look after him? I'm surprised he even has the strength to stand up right now. Nonsense. Everything is fine.
Always gotta be the headstrong one, don't you? You've heard Merlin. Now stay put and rest. I'll keep an eye on things here.
Good. Now, Dream, how about we take a little trip? You've gotta be asleep to have missed my signal, so I expect you'll be here any minute.
Excuse me, but you two aren't planning to go off on your own, are you? Are you certain that splitting up is the best idea right now? Enya makes a valid point. I mean, I'm sure the two of you can handle yourselves, but...
It'll be fine. It won't just be the two of us. Got one more still on her way, and then she wouldn't be gone all that long. Now that we know the Order of the Black Moon is using some power in tandem with the realm of the gods, which means they're not defying just laws of space, but time as well.
But how? Those things are, by their very nature, the domain of the gods. Sorry, I have hiccups now.
Exactly. That's why if we're gonna stop this, now's the time to recruit some more help. To get the best help we can, definitely need Dream.
Just make sure you don't take too long. The rest of the expeditionary force will stay here and continue to monitor the situation. Marla briefly hesitates before reluctantly granting her approval. Mullen turns to me with his usual confidence. Small importance for us is a secluded part of town.
We're probably gonna be late. I've never seen anyone move as quickly as she does. While we're walking, we can brainstorm what to do about that bridge of yours. I don't know if what I did last time will work, but, well, come on, let's get the show on the road. This isn't the best time to go over the details, but I promise I'll explain everything when we get there.
Merlin glances back and forth before walking towards the deserted part of town he'd indicated. I have no clue what's up to, but he's figured it's just best to follow him anyway. Let's go over there. Who did he signal? What? I'm wondering who we're gonna go meet. Corky. Corky. How do we get over there? Oh, just go all the way around. Whoop. Whoop. Another path.
Alright, I think this is good enough. To be honest, I really wanted to avoid using the signal if it was possible. Oh, and I guess this would be a good time to fill you in. I actually paid our contact a visit a while ago, you see. There were some things we needed to discuss, and I wanted to know if she was really going to stay put. I asked her about her current plans, but she wouldn't give me a straight answer. I even tried to persuade her using my smoothest lines, but she kept giving me the runaround. So I figured if she wasn't going to come to me, well, I'd just go to her. Of course, now that I've been there, they've probably got eyes on me. I mean, I may have insinuated that if I set off a blight flash of light, that was a signal that I'd make all her private business public if she didn't come, but, you do what you gotta do to make things happen.
I have no idea who this could be. Honestly, have you so little consideration you won't spare a thought for the one who has to drop everything to deal with you? Hear a familiar voice in the cold clanking of metal upon metal. Evelyn? Question mark? It is Evelyn. She's like the only female I know offhand who isn't already accounted for and who also wears heavy plate armor. A sheet of rose-hued hair frames a stern face and just, contrasting the gold glint of her ornate armor. Oh, a face stern and just. She holds in her hands a short lance, custom-made for melee combat, and a myriad of emotions seem to churn beneath her calm and commanding expression. Well met, Dream. Been wondering how to reach out to you. I'm glad we were able to meet like this.
Excuse me, I'm here too. You know, the guy who signaled you to show up.
Yes, Merlin, we know you're here. In fact, we've been keeping an eye on you ever since you made that ridiculous threat. She rolls her eyes. The only one that put over the Merlin's crap. As I'm sure you're already aware, Dream, we've also been keeping a close eye on these rifts. Seeing as the commander's made up his mind, it shouldn't be a problem if I share some of our intelligence with you. Especially since the other party has been contacted and lightly en route as we speak.
What? Only now? It took you this long to finally make up your mind? After everything I told you and tried to convince you? Jeez, should have brought her with me from the beginning. Jeez, you guys suck. What takes you so long?
Yes, and in doing so will cause our present operations to grind to a halt. But that's neither here nor there. Evelyn shudders as if imagining something unbearable, but soon turns her calm gaze back to me. Even so, I get the feeling that the current environments have given her cause to heighten her guard. Rifts has appeared in both Avalon and the Sanctuary on multiple occasions, despite the fact that both locations are under the protection of divine light. I'm sure it's tied in some way to the prophets and their influence, but even if we were reasonably certain on that point, there is still much we don't understand. Thanks to the commander and the other knights, we were able to minimize the damage, but we were left with many questions wanting answers. One curious thing we observed was that after a certain amount of time had passed, the rifts stopped appearing within the sanctuary. We don't know whether that was because the first few intrusions accomplished whatever their purpose was, or because they eventually found themselves unable to create rifts there.
Wait, so you're saying there haven't been any more rifts appearing there? It's been an absolute spit show and crevasse in the ravine.
Spit show? Wait, this feels like an odd sensor.
Why that of all things?
Evelyn ignores Merlin's grumbling and continues on. In addition to that, when we investigated the traces left behind by the rifts, we found faint but unmistakable signs of something else. A lingering aura similar to divine power. These signs were somewhat different from what we're used to, but not to such an extent as to lead us to believe we were dealing with an otherworldly entity. Whatever deity this was, I believe them to have their origins on this world. At this point, I doubt I need to present additional evidence and conjecture suggesting which god that might be. As a last point of note, some of our knights have... Actually, it would be better if you heard from Lowen. After all, it's still largely unconfirmed at this point.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! You can't just leave us hanging like that! Now I'm even more confused than before! Come on, spill the beans! Give us the juice!
What do they see in someone like you, anyway? Anyway, now that we've confirmed you're not trying to deceive us for some personal end of yours, I'll return to my duties. I don't want to waste any more time than I have already. Dream, officially our orders are to stand by and continue observing the situation. Internally, however, there are still several conflicting opinions on what our role in all of this is to be. But note that the commander didn't come to his decision easily. I really hope you can understand just how difficult it was for him. It seems we have visitors. Ellen's eyes are drawn to a figure still a ways away. I hear the quiet padding of footsteps as they draw near. Anyway, I figure he'll be in contact soon enough. You can get the details directly from him. I did assign them a handler in case he starts to ramble, so hopefully he won't make any glaring mistakes. Whoever is approaching is now very close. In accordance with the divine will, we render our assistance to you. I wanted to make that clear, just in case there were any doubts as to where we stood. For now, I take my leave. It would be less than prudent for me to be seen by others right now. She fixes her firm yet sincere gaze upon me before quickly vanishing into the shadows. She teleported! Ah, there you are. Anya silently gazes toward the place where Evelyn stood shortly before. Marley standing beside her seems as though she has something she needs to tell me. The feeling it may be related to Evelyn's insinuation that someone else would soon contact me. Let's first talk to Marley. Anya, turn that frown upside down. Don't look so upset. I can feel it lingering in the air. Someone else was here. Was it someone you know well? I thought it was about time for them to take action. I'm sure they won't just sit idle when even I've taken the stand. Murmur.
Man, look at her go! She just said her piece and went on her way! Still, it's good to hear they've made up their minds. I was worried I'd have to use you as leverage to finally convince them to take action. This is why it's such a pain to be bound by all those rules and codes and what have you. Being a crusader sucks.
Dream, Merlin, I'm glad we found you. We received an urgent message from the royal castle while you were out. Messages from the royal castle are sent in envelopes that bear a certain symbol, with the same being true of the messages I received directly from Her Majesty. This allows those of us involved in correspondence to classify letters by importance. Once Merlide had read the message, she said that rather than share its contents with everyone, she needed to take you to the royal castle right away. I'll be accompanying you as well. Are you sure you can't tell us what this is all about? I would if I could. The letter itself was vague about the exact reason, but stressed that this was a matter of the utmost importance, so we need to hurry. Besides, it shouldn't be a problem for us to step away for a little while with Merlin, the greatest wizard of all time here. Isn't that right?
Huh? Huh? Oh yeah, you can count on me. Praise me more. Let's go. I got this. Wait a minute. Are you guys trying to ditch me? Because it feels like you're trying to ditch me. On second thought, maybe it's better that you just go. Our nightly friends are taking this seriously, so I'm satisfied for now.
Merlin crosses his arms in exasperation and nods to himself. Then flashes me a reassuring glare while gesturing with his hands.
I'll organize the rest of us and Belvast to do a sweep of the town and the ravine. Might as well check and see if our treasure-nabbing rogue left anything useful. It's not like any new rifts have shown up in town, so, that ravine is pretty suspicious, but, anyway. Your queen needs to see you. You better hurry and see what it's about. Sounds pretty important.
We'll leave things here to you, Merlin. Thank you for looking after everyone.
Let's make for Tara. Her Majesty's handwriting in her letter seems sloppier than usual, almost like she was rushing. Whatever going on, it must be urgent. Despite maintaining her usual calm and even tone, I hear an obvious note of urgency in Merlin's voice. Could something have happened to Iroin? I have a feeling this is somehow related to what Evelyn told me. Let's go to the castle.
He got it right this time! We are ditching him! Yay! He's not stupid all the time. 3 insigs. Attain. Where is Attain anyway? I guess I'll take the Wrath.
Agreed, debatable.
Sometimes he's like actually smart, other times he's not so smart. Oh, I like tried to put my food in the thing and then I forgot to actually get the food. Attain, where actually are you?
Wait, it says talk to you in the Great Hall. Oh, is it upstairs? I think it's upstairs.
Lazy book time! Gah. Thank you.
I have one. I've been trying to be. I tried to be a Royal Alchemist, but I never make it. I guess my alchemy isn't good enough, and I don't run enough shadow missions. This part is actually surprisingly hard. Her long pale hair is moonlight, dancing off a watery surface, and her pale green eyes surrounded by a forest of lashes convey an aura of mystery. The elaborate medal symbolizing the god of love that hangs around her neck is as heavy as the weight of her duties. Her rosy lips spread into a gentle smile.
I don't believe Enya is who they wish to see, so I've taken the liberty of donning my usual ecclesiastical attire.
Oh, that's right. Her Majesty told me to bring the pontiff as well. I'm sorry, that completely slipped my mind.
To be honest, these robes are so heavy and stuffy. I much prefer the clothes I've been wearing during my time with the expeditionary force. Anyway, I suppose that's enough idle chatter for now.
Did it not strike you as strange that we saw so few people on our way here? I thought the very same. My guess is that they all but the most trusted officials and servants have been dismissed for the day. There are no signs of any sorts of violence as one would expect with an ambush or assassination attempt, and I don't get a sense of danger in the air either. Honestly, I'm rather perplexed as to what's happening here.
Perhaps the Queen has a guest who would rather not be seen by prying eyes. It seems my prediction was correct. They could no longer ignore that something has gone very wrong.
Hold. It looks like someone else is already inside.
Then we should join them. The summons seemed particularly urgent, did it not? This must be a matter we need to discuss together.
Okay.
Hi, I'm here. The floof arrives.
That's strange. There are no guards around the reception room and none inside either. Under no circumstances, any visit by an important guest would have an attendant security detail just as a matter of course. Our lead mumbles quietly as if irked by the lapse in protocol.
There are bigger things that you should be worried about.
Some hesitation, she enters the reception room. There, against the red backdrop symbolizing the dignity of the royal family, stands a man clad in a blue plate, his back turned. We all have our weapons out.
Who is our mystery visitor?
Is it Alton? It is Alton! He's got the commander outfit on now. I like his sword. That sword is OP. It's even more OP than the Saluna blade. He actually looks pretty cool now, the commander armor on. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think they need security.
Lily one? Wait, who is that? There is no mistaking that emblem or your sword. Your order once asked for the cooperation of the Pontiff's court. I heard of you from my predecessor, what limited amount is known at least. It was, I confess, hard to believe. But here you stand before us, in the flesh.
What's going on? Dream, do you know this person? And why is Lilywin here?
Such confusion ill suits a mind as keen as yours, my lord. At this juncture, the answer should be self-evident, if you think about it a little more.
For a moment, Marlene seems caught between embarrassment and frustration, but as she looks to where Ireland is standing attentively, she closes her mouth and keeps her peace. Dream, you're a bit late. But we're about to just move on to the main subject of our discussion, so in a sense, I suppose you arrived just in time. So, Knight Commander, Autumn, was it? If you'd be so kind as to summarize what you just told us to bring Dream up to speed. Despite just hearing it myself, I could use a minute or two to put my thoughts in order.
Very well, I'll do just that.
Autumn gives Irowen a polite nod before turning to me. He takes a deep breath and looks me in the eye. His turquoise eyes are the same as I remember, his bearing energetic and pure of will. New to me are his growth spurt and the dark blue cape hanging from his shoulders. I notice a certain tension in his face as if he's trying to mask his happiness at seeing me. Hello! You can touch Fluffy Tail if you just admit that you're happy. Don't you want to touch the Fluffy Tail? The Fluffy Tails? The Black Order of the Black Moon has given their lives in an attempt to touch the Fluffy Tail, and you can do it for free! Isn't it an amazing offer?
Well met, Dream. It's been a while since our paths last crossed. I wish the circumstances would allow us to catch up, but we've little time for pleasantries, Commander, as I'm sure you're aware.
I know it is a founding tenet of your order to carry out your duties unknown and unseen by the world. But you stand before us now in full acknowledgement of your identity, the veil of mystery that has shrouded the night since the age of antiquity pulled back at last. That can only mean that you have determined the situation calls for your direct intervention. At least, such is my assumption.
You have the right of it. Judging by the emblem you wear and the aura that surrounds you, I take it you are Divide of Ramalok, the god of love. According to several reports we've received, those of the Pontiff Court are doing what they can to calm the situation. In fact, I saw them myself on the way to the royal castle.
Autumn's gaze shifts back from a teen back to me.
Dream, by this point, I'm sure you've encountered the rifts many times. I've also witnessed the same phenomenon on our home soil, but we don't know how it could have happened on holy ground. But carefully reviewing the reports of our squads and the testimonies and clues found throughout Arin, being able to uncover something deeply unsettling. Evelyn's tireless efforts to tank for this breakthrough. It was all for the sake of fulfilling my duties. As I often do when at an impasse, I paid careful heed to my intuition and followed where it led me. Still, I had hoped my hunch would prove incorrect this time. Okay, take care of driving back, Ronnie. Be safe. Thank you for all the support. Hopefully, near the end, I'll also try to do a support. Hopefully you can get back in time to, do the giveaway stuff. Dream, do you know what happens to those who, through some unfortunate chance or mistake,
And remember,
pass those dark rifts?
hydrate or die.
Thank you. I should get up and stretch. Ugh. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Stretch. Oh, I'm so stiff. Stretch. Oh my god. Let's also have a drink while we're stretching. First bottle of water is gone now. Let's open the second. Play. return. Hi. Okay.
Dream, do you know what happens to those who, through some unfortunate chance or mistake, pass through those dark rifts?
Yes, they get teleported. We were able to find people though and still return them, so they don't like die. They just get stuck in an extra dimensional space. As for the particulars of that, I don't know how. Or where they go. That seems to be something the Black Moon is controlling.
Ooh, ooh. It's not always about the ooh, but sometimes it is.
The boy was dehydrated and understandably quite hungry, but didn't appear injured by his experience. Indeed, things could have turned out far worse, but I can't help but wonder if perhaps the boy was negatively affected in some way we've yet to realize. So he passed through a rift and seemed none the worse for it, physically speaking. Interesting. But one compares that to what befell our knights. I suppose there will always be exceptions. What may have been a necessary step in the order of the Black Moon's plans to evaluate how they might be affected by it. Wait, 3 ads in a row? Why? That shouldn't be possible. I, reduced the ads on my channel so that it only does, it should only be, a minute every, 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't know how that happened. What may be a necessary step in the order of Black Moon's plans to evaluate how they might be affected by it. Enough beating around the bush. What are you getting at, Lillian?
As you're aware, the rifts link distant places together. Such a phenomenon could only be caused by harnessing a power far beyond the ken of mortals. As such, we initially assumed that the rifts were a random occurrence, haphazardly connecting disparate locations with no rhyme or reason. But as they continued to appear and reappear and disappear, we began to suspect that they were following some pattern, that there was a deeper purpose guiding them. Then there was an incident. A few of our people stationed on the night watch disappeared without a trace. The rift must have appeared after their skies were dark and none noticed its presence in time to block access to the area. The missing knights weren't returned to us until early in the evening the next day.
Thank you so much, Archillumin. Wow, thank you. Yeah, and I have subscribers don't get ads at all. Exactly. Yeah. Congratulations, you are now ad-free. Thank you so much for following. Oh, that reminds me. I have a prototype of an emote that I wanted to add to Aki. It's almost ready. It's not quite ready yet, but I think I'll show you. I'll see if it works. Let's do create state. Hopefully this works. See? It's not transparent yet, but thank you. Yes, the OST is from the game. Happy Flute. Okay. Jiggle all of the flute. Not quite ready yet, though. Wait, did my... Oh no. Oh no, something broke. Oh, oh no. Hold on, I have to fix the thingy. I broke my things! Give me a sec. I didn't think it was gonna do that if I did it that way. Hold on. Is it like... Okay, I see what happened. Can I don't remember if I saved the backup for this though. Let me double check. I'm so sorry. I didn't... Okay, there. And now I just need to... Okay, there. I fixed it. Oh, wait. No. There we go. Okay, sorry. I broke my thing. There. Gabby is doing their best.
Then there was an incident. A few of our people stationed on the night watch disappeared without a trace. The rift must have appeared after the skies went dark and unnoticed its presence in time to block access to the area. The missing knights weren't returned to us until early evening the next day. At least they were returned to us physically, but they were changed, sluggish, unresponsive. It's almost like they were deep in a trance. And what's more... But wait, there's more. Olwen suddenly stops, scans the room of faces, looking expectantly for him to continue, and gives Altum a quiet, querying look. Altum gives a nod of approval, and Lilywin reluctantly continues. Some of those who returned had been drained of all their divine light. We could sense not a trace of it within them. Wait, are you sure it was caused by travel through the rift? If that were the case, how does one explain Dream having avoided a similar fate? She has ventured into the rifts on a number of occasions in order to close them. Of course, they did ward off anything within the rift that looks dangerous, and it's likely that the power of Limelark imbued within the Holy Flame offered up some additional measure of protection. What? She went into the rift? You really did, didn't you? Are you sure you're alright? As soon as the team pauses, the flushed dolphin tries to rush to my side with a watchful Lilywin grabs him by the arm, holding him back. How are you feeling, Jane? I've been concerned about your forays into these rifts. It would be bad enough if you'd gone into one, but the frequent with which you've ventured into them. I received a report about a rift that appeared in another town. It was observed that any animals or monsters that went through the rift turned violent. That has me worried. You're okay though, right? If something would happen to you, I don't know what I'd do. Thank you so much for being concerned. I'm okay. Thank you, Aaron. I'm okay, Hoof. Well, you don't need to thank me just for that. But seeing you smile as you so often do, I can take heart, trusting that nothing terrible has befallen you. Everyone is uncomfy. Everyone is staring at me with concern. Could it be the Militians are resistant to the effects of the rift compared to other people? But it was because of what happened to those knights that we realized we had to do something. And believe me, convincing our leadership to follow this path was no simple task. Ask our knights to forego one of our founding tenets. Much soul-searching was had by all. Meanwhile, the rifts continue to appear in more and more locations, almost as though they are seeking something. Only those gifted with the strongest will have the power to resist such darkness. Just as my knights had their divine light stolen, many more will suffer from these rifts. The Order of the Black Moon surely has some sinister design for all they've observed from the living beings unfortunately enough to have been swallowed by the rift. In one sense, it was fortunate we realized that the rift had siphoned the divine light from our knights. We created a trail that we could follow, you see. After much surveying and study, we discovered where the rifts had been funneling that energy. It was flowing to the deepest reaches of the Torah Ravine, a place far from the sanctuary. The question then is what the Order intends to do with that power. Whatever their intention,
The misuse of such a power represents a danger to us all. Indeed it does, and I believe that was the focus of our discussion just before you, Merlin, and Attain arrived, Dream. This divine light isn't the power of a goddess etched in marble, or one of the 3 gods commonly known in Lod. This is the power of the absolute god whom these knights serve, a true omnipotent deity. The Order of the Black Moon, who claim to be the followers of Heimerach, are trying to use that power. The Order believes all of this to be in accordance with divine revelation. Speaking personally, what the gods want isn't important to me, and whether their tenets are wise or foolish doesn't interest me in the slightest. What does matter is a great deal is the fact that the path that they've chosen is paved with the suffering of countless people. I'll never understand those who devote themselves to such twisted ideals. Who could be proud of such wanton cruelty?
Rest assured, I feel the same. Our knights reach similar conclusions as well. We've already contacted all the unit leaders, and as soon as we conducted our business here, the knights will advance on the ravine. We must mitigate the damage before an even greater catastrophe befalls us. We can't let them abuse the divine light for their wicked schemes. If our predictions are correct, more rifts will soon open over Oladen area. We don't know exactly what the Order is trying to accomplish, but we can be sure that more people will be sacrificed to those rifts. As the regent of the human kingdom, I'm sure you have the necessary connections to warn the leaders of the other races. I'll humbly ask that you do so, as revealing ourselves to them would present an entirely new set of difficulties for us.
Ah, so that's why you sought me out first, even though in doing so you have gone against a quarter of your order forbidding you from revealing the existence of the knights, or one's involvement with them, no matter the circumstances.
It appears that Irwin has been given much to consider. She seems hesitant to speak as she looks first at me, then at Alton.
Truth be told, it's a lot to take in, much less fully comprehend. You appear out of nowhere, claiming to serve the absolute god and expect me to trust you and take you at your word. However, you do have one thing in your favor. The fact that Dream's trust in you seems as strong as their trust in me. Based on that, I have no reason to doubt you. I'll have to find some way to explain to Sinead why we ought to put our trust in these particular strangers and send official correspondence to the other continents as requested. Under ordinary circumstances, I would have consulted Lillian in such a matter, but in light of his particular affiliation, I can guess what he would advise me to do. Well, I have more questions about you and about House Sinislark, but they can wait. First, we must deal with the rifts in the Order of the Black Moon.
I thank you for your consideration, Your Majesty.
Well then, I believe that covers all the major points of this meeting. You needn't worry about the lattice area. You and Dream should.
She gazes at me unwaveringly.
See to the undertakings of the ravine. Do all you can to ensure that the Order of the Black Moon schemes are put to right. If this really is a trial put forth by their god, then we must work together to overcome it, and prove beyond a doubt that any such more tests or tribulations are wholly unnecessary.
Everyone nods as they pay heed to her words. Alton and Lillian, first to exit, give curt bows and leave the chamber.
Queen Erwin, I'll contact the Pontiff's court in advance requesting that the Temple Knights remain on standby in case Tara or any other cities require their aid. If what they said is correct, the rifts will soon appear all over the continent in great numbers. The regular army and the town civil militia won't be able to respond quickly enough. Thank you, Attain. If only we'd known sooner, though, it would be so simple to work with the Pontiff's court. We could have done so much more. Once all of this is over, I pray that we'll have that opportunity to accomplish great things together.
Erwin's eyes faintly soften as Attain smirks with a gentle smile.
Marlade, I ask that you continue to take care of Ari and the expeditionary force. Ari, I have no doubt that you'll return with heartening news.
Understood, Your Majesty. Dream, Attain, let's be off.
I turn, taking one last look at Irwin, but giving her a realistic nod and smile. I exit the chamber, and I hear Machain and Arlade following close behind, but most of all I still see vividly in my mind's eye the look of implicit trust and hope shown to me by the young queen.
Heavy is the head that bears the crown. True for her, especially given all of the situations she has to deal with.
A young man is fresh and fair as a willow. Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought I muted. Oh no. Ugh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I muted and I reached up to hit the mic and I was like, oh no. Oh no. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. A young man is fresh and fair as a willow tree. He seems a bit flashy but wears a keen, mature expression. His eyes dance with mysterious colors like the facets of precious gems.
Though I knew not the events that might lead to it, I always expected this day would come. I've said as much before, as you're aware. Lilywin, I can't believe you! She glares at Lilywin with a look of cold disapproval. You've maintained such a deception for so long, but none of us the wiser. I won't raise my voice in the presence of Her Majesty, but...
Oh? Thank you so much, Seltzer. Have to do stuff? Should I hold the giveaway now, then while you're here? Other people... Oh, okay. I'll probably still be streaming in 3 hours.
Though we may not always have seen eye to eye, I thought you, of all people, were someone I could trust! Did I not caution you about displaying your emotions so openly within the castle, Marlene? And so we are perfectly clear, I have never actually deceived you. He shifts his imposing gas place from me, now addressing Etienne.
I need to. I try. Thank you so much, Seltzer. See you.
Give a good rest. Hopefully everything goes well and you can get a nice rest before stream. I mean, before you go to work.
Do accept my apologies, Your Holiness. Before Lamalok, I was first and always a servant of Atonsin. This was the path set before me from even before my birth.
I see. I did on occasion notice that you gave off an oddly fragrant scent. I understand why that was. As the sign of House Sinislok. Might I presume that the entire family is involved in this? But what family would think to entrust their firstborn to such a dangerous calling? Oh right, I forgot to do. I still can't figure out how to type this thing properly. Since the days of antiquity, the Alban Knights have served Atonsimeni in secret, stewards of his will in this world. With the passing of eras, they were presumed lost to the annals of history, to have faded into legend with the passage of time. But to see you standing before me, hale and whole, it is abundantly clear that my predecessors' tales were no mere chivalric bedtime stories. As I recall, Isla once spoke of a meeting someone presumed to be a member of the Alban Knights. I assume the most recent incident of the royal castle proved something of a turning point for you as well, after which you could no longer abide the actions of Heimerach. Long did I too remain hesitant, believed that spending time in prayer and communication with Limelurk was the most I could do. But Limelurk has given us all a direct warning, and it does not lack for in its clarity. Everyone must join forces together, and that includes...
Allow me to guess, you believe that includes all of us as well?
I do now. In the beginning, I wasn't certain. But as I began my journey to cleanse the land of these rifts, I became aware of the tracks you left behind, and soon came to believe that our paths would inevitably cross.
Our organization does much, almost all in secret, to protect this world from threats beyond this world and preserve the will of Atonsimeni. Commander, perhaps we ought to be a little more precise with our phrasing given the recent change in circumstances. Now that we've revealed our existence to the Queen and to those trustworthy souls gathered here, since a definite undercurrent of satisfaction beneath Lilywin's cynical words, he slowly taps a finger lightly against his lips as he continues. I hope that, at the very least, making ourselves known to you has conveyed some sense of the urgency of the situation. I can assure you that this decision was not an easy one for the Commander. In the service of Aton Semeni's will, certain measures sometimes prove necessary in order to prevent the defiance of that very will. As one of steady faith filled with divine power, we consider Ari to be one of us. We cannot stand idle as one of our own is repeatedly tested and taxed, putting their very life in danger. At our core, we're an order that exists to protect, and to that end, we have to protect each other. As for harm work in the Order of the Black Moon, we only have to look at what they want and the path they're walking to achieve it. Can we truly say it's Aton Semeni's will for us to embrace a future built by those who don't care how many die as long as they're able to get what they want? Let us not mince words. Lives have been lost throughout the night's victory because we held our secrecy sanctified. What lies in store should we fall to here is incomparable to aught that has come before. Fine, I get it. Not gonna let slip to anyone about the existence of your organization. Doing so would only serve to serve up more trouble for the royal court, and I doubt that's what Her Majesty would want. The shadow of a terrible threat looms over the Tory Ravine. Could it be their intent to exploit the divine power of Avalon? That famed sanctuary spoken of in story and song? Still not sure of their exact purpose either. Only that whatever their aim, it's certain to endanger lives all across the ring. Commander, all lives should have arrived at the ravine by now. Afraid it'll become a confusing affair for all involved without us there to explain things. We should head out at once. We'll have to continue our discussion later. I'd like to see this resolved as soon as possible. Willie shoots one last frosty glare at Lillian's way before suddenly returning and striding out.
Merlide, you needn't worry. I'll go after her. We should make our way back to the ravine as well. I'm sure everyone can already tell something strange is happening. It would be best for us to get there as soon as we're able.
Commander, we must set out immediately as well. Based on the timeline outlined prior to the departure, I expect they may have already made contact. Understood. I'll be ready to go shortly.
Just as I'm about to leave, Autumn tugs at my sleeve.
Oh, excuse me, Dream, if you have a moment. I can trouble you for a few minutes of your time. Something I need to tell you in private.
I sense a sense of desperation. Let's talk to him before I leave.
The dark, gleaming blade in his hand looks heavy for one his age, but his voice is filled with compassion and warmth. His tousled hair, beneath his tousled hair, stares back at me with confidence turquoise eyes. Dream? Oh, to heck with the formalities of office! It's been too long! I missed you!
After scanning the surroundings to make sure the place is free of uninvited eyes and ears, he finally relaxes into a wide, sunny smile I know suits him best.
Owen told me again and again that I can't interact with you the way I used to, and I've tried to take it to heart. It was really hard not to rush over and greet you the moment you walked into the room. I can't believe you're really here. Perhaps it doesn't seem like me to feel such gladness amidst these grim circumstances in which we found ourselves, but it's just so good to see you. Wait, are you serious?
He draws very close and looks at me intently as if he suddenly discovers something of great interest. He looks deeply touched, his eyes welling up with heartfelt tears. His lips tremble as if trying to hold back the surging river of his emotions.
Dream, you mean that all this time you've been hanging on to those cookies I gave you? I'm so touched. I didn't realize you treasured them so deeply. I've decided, once all of this is over, I'll have to make cookies for you again.
I kept the cookies the whole time. Yes.
Delicious cookies. I've saved them forever and ever. I was hoping he would comment on how long I've had them, because I did G19 like years and years ago when it was new. So it's been like ages and ages.
Wait, if I made you more cookies, then I'd get in trouble with Avalon again.
Autumn's look of excitement is quickly replaced with a certain sulky frown. Clears his throat a few times before reassuming the stern expression he wore throughout the meeting. Autumn, both. These herbal cookies, I've had them for so long. They are super OP. 30 prot? Technically 40 prot with Terror 1 tasting? Actually crazy. I'm saving them for like
the first time I run like Chrono Lead or something, I would need the extra 40 prop. But I don't have people to run Chrono Lead yet, so I've just been saving them. Maybe? We'll see. I'm glad that he has like a custom reaction for you actually having kept them though. Clears his throat a few times before reassuming the stern expression he wore throughout the meeting.
I feel I should apologize that I couldn't tell you about our decision sooner. He may have told you himself, but that Merlin guy dropped by the Sanctum a few times. After talking to him, I learned he was able to pass freely through the gates because of the divine power he received from Talvish a long time ago. To be honest, something is still about him feels shady. There's no question he knows Talvish. We've been known to converse with each other at the Springs. Since he's a friend of yours, we decided to permit him in our midst, at least for now. He also let us know, on multiple occasions, that he's been hoping we would take action. In truth, I have to admit his testimony helped convince the others to agree to this decision. Sometimes when I'm praying alone in the Sanctum, I'll hear Tavish's voice. It doesn't happen often, mind you, but I've been hearing it more and more frequently over the last few months. The Order of the Black Moon was mentioned by name as well. They've been the subject of frequent debate amongst the knights, as we've struggled with how to define them and what, if anything, we should do about them.
As I listen to Altham check off official beer so seriously, I can't help but notice he looks more grown up than I remember. He appears to be choosing his words with great care.
You should know that Talvish is very concerned for you as well. He seems very busy. I mean, with the traces of otherworldly gods still lingering in so many forgotten corners of the world, I'm supposed that's not a task that'll be finished anytime soon. Still, we've certainly received a great deal of help from Tavish ourselves, whether directly or indirectly. He never explicitly said that was the reason why, just that it wasn't yet time for our paths to intersect his. You know, that cryptic way he sometimes puts things. But I think he also meant that statement for you. But you know, I can't help feeling like he's watching over us to make sure we aren't led astray. It may not be the time yet, but I think he'll be there to help us soon when we really need it the most. Don't you think so too? I believe you and the others feel the same way. Anyway, well, I'd love nothing more to stat and chafe for a little bit longer. Free duty calls. There's no longer any doubt that the Order is trying to exploit the divine light of Avalon and the power of the lands of Pelias in service of some great plan of theirs. My working assumption is that they're trying to bring about another of their knights. This is probably the only chance we'll have to stop them. I just pray we didn't arrive at our decision too late. Come on, let's make haste. I've already given the order to our unit leaders, so they should all be gathered at the ravine by now.
I nod empathetically. Let's go back to the ravine and stop them in their tracks. Yay! This seems like things are finally ramping up. Hopefully so. Ooh, a new message. There's a potent baleful energy coming from deep within the ravine. Things are getting dangerous. I noticed I was running low on MP because I just leave and Still Thunder on, so sometimes I do that just to get everything back up and running. Dream. You remember that ominous sense of dread I felt in Tara? The air here is thick with it, especially over in the depths of the ravine where Hunter went missing. I've patrolled this area more times than any sensible gal should, but in all those times, I've never seen it so dismal and gloomy.
Hey Dream, we met with our nightly friends, right? Seemed like they'd more or less made up their minds the last time we talked. Oh, I already brought Alan up to speed to them, so don't worry about it. I got this. Merlin's on the case.
I think up to speed is probably overselling it a little, given that the main takeaways were they're an ancient order of knights and they're extremely secretive. But
having their assistance will prove a big help in getting Hunter back. Besides, it seems like the path they've taken isn't all that different from our own goal of keeping the world safe. And since we share a common enemy, I'll gladly cooperate with them.
Merlin said they were going to lend us their forces, so that's a good enough reason for me. Anyway, I think we all have a pretty good grasp of the situation now. Not bad if I say so myself. I guess I can add explaining stuff to the great long list of things I'm awesome at. Let's go. Judging by the look on your face, Ari, I'm gonna assume things turned out just like I expected. I'd like to think I made a convincing argument. After all, they can't protect a world that's been blown to smithereens now, can they? Whew, sometimes it really does take a genius mage like yours truly to get the job done. Sweet. So, that's one thing crossed off the old list.
Merlin puffs out his chest triumphantly as he takes a moment to indulge in a bit of self-congratulation, but his expression soon darkens again as he fixes his gaze on the murky skies beyond the ravine.
Our next problem is to deal with that.
We did a thorough sweep of the ravine while you were gone, hoping to find some sort of clue that the hunter might have left behind. When he gets back, I'm gonna make sure he knows how depressed he made his poor monkey. For now, though, G and the culinary artist are taking good care of Pinky. I know that G is not exactly in the best shape to monkey sit, but I figured he probably ought to stay in town for now. Anyway, as we were doing our sweep of the area, we found scuff marks near the broken bridge leading inwards from the altar. The kind you see when someone or something has been dragged off.
Why the hell would they drag him off if he agreed to go with them?
But that's about when we were suddenly ambushed on all sides by those Black Moon cultists. They must have realized we were getting ready to rain on their parade.
Anyway, we decided to be smarter to join up with you before we took any decisive action. So we settled on getting them a medium thrashing and sent them on their way. But based on this heavy feeling in the atmosphere, whatever it is they're trying to do, they must be pretty close to achieving it. Where they came at us reeked of desperation and derangement.
As I take a closer look at each of them, I realize that they all bear the marks of a pitched battle. That was nothing, Merlin. Right now, the only thing that matters is getting Hunter back and putting a stop to whatever they're planning. Totally. Besides, I hardly even broke a sweat back there. Though I admit, it's tough to fight an enemy who can apparently afford to throw wave after wave of cannon fodder at you. Even weak soldiers can wear you down over time if there's an endless stream of them. Sure would be nice if some strong, reliable reinforcements showed up right about now. Agreed, it would be very reassuring for us to have allies such as yourselves. Who are you? A firm and familiar voice answers back. Hey, Mary. Marlene and Enya gave him the gist of how things stand. It sounds like the innermost steps of the Toy Ravine that you, Bater, and I discovered is where the Order of the Black Moon lies in wait for us. To put it another way, that's where they've been cornered. It's like the rifts that have been pouring across the world were just trial runs for whatever they're trying to pull off now.
It's my theory, too. I've got to hand it to these crazy cultists. They managed to spread their chaos across the land and experiment at the same time. Not bad. I'd even go so far as to say that's what's happening now, and all the other nights that have happened so far have all been to bring about whatever's coming next. Their usual tactics have been to take their time and act with secrecy. But this time it's like they didn't care how blatant they were, or how much attention their actions drew. What, are they in some kind of hurry?
Or Durbal's getting sloppy, maybe.
I think it's safe to assume they are. So many of their original plans have fallen into disarray at this point, that the fact that they're charging ahead leads me to believe they've acquired something that can more than compensate for their failures.
One appears calm on the surface, but I can hear a touch of anguish in his voice.
Merlin, you said that a large number of followers appeared from deeper in, right? Yep, none of them were anything much on their own, but they were able to swarm the three of us with just sheer numbers.
It didn't seem wise to tire ourselves out this early on, so I decided it was best to wait for Arya and the reinforcements. I cannot help but shudder wondering what might await us there. Deeper in, I feel an overwhelming darkness. This presence terrifies me. cannot help but recall the dream given to me by Larmalark. The sky here looks exactly like the one I saw in my vision on that harrowing day. But I know I must have seen it for a reason. However, it's brought out of that dismal basement into the light to ensure it doesn't become a reality. Merlin, you wouldn't happen to know where to reconnect that broken bridge, would you? See you soon! Good. Thank you for AFKing! Also, you can test out exclamation point lurk. I just programmed it. It might work. Yay, it worked!
That's right. Didn't you say we were gonna figure something out? Way ahead of you there, friendos. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh, Merlin's got you covered. Here's just one thing, though.
Merlin smiles confidently as he focuses his attention fully on Enya.
I'd be much obliged if Her Holiness the Pontiff would lend me a hand.
You... Who are you, really? The power I sense from you is completely unique, but... wait! Do you know who I am? Oh no. What did I do that gave me away?
Oh, it was obvious from the start. You're clearly someone who's beloved by God. Folks like that ain't exactly common on this continent, you know. There's like me, a couple other people. Wasn't hard to figure it out.
In here I thought I'd done such a good job concealing my identity. I suppose I never counted on meeting someone of such unusual talents. He's just a weirdo, honey, plain and simple. You'll get used to him eventually. She's not wrong. It took me some time to adjust to his general strangeness, but I've come to accept that it's just the way Merlin is. If you're concerned about keeping your identity a secret, you needn't worry. It's not Merlin's style to divulge secrets. He likes hoarding them to himself far too much.
Ooh, do mine eyes deceive me, or did Starlet just pay me a compliment? Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Praise me more. But she's right. I would never ever spill the beans. Cross your heart, my lips are sealed. Well, that comes as something of a relief. I can't imagine how troublesome it would be to have someone like you blabbing about us.
What?
Well, look who decided to show up. Took you long enough. Did you march here backwards or something?
We hear the clink of metal as the Divine Knights arrive. Ooh, things really seem to be ramping up. I wonder if we're getting near the end of part 1. It seems like we really are getting close to the end of part 1. That's good.
Ah, Dream, I see everyone's already arrived. Pardon our delay. Took a while to round up all the unit commanders.
There's a bit of a process we need to go through to authorize our gathering in one place. That's to say nothing of all the contingency planning we had to do. I think this is the first time we've seen each other since the Squire's practical training! Yay! You might be interested to know that the Sanctum and its gate are currently under the protection of those very Squires. They've been undergoing a rigorous training regimen, but with Shun in charge, I'm sure there won't be any problems. Oh, it's surprisingly short? Similar quest count, but the quests are shorter and more straightforward. That's good.
Commander, I feel like it would have been a wiser decision to have left me in charge rather than another unit leader.
Lilywin, you know very well that your assistance with this campaign would be a great boon to the commander. Her sharp eyes slowly study me before moving on to scrutinize each member of the expeditionary force and the aces. Scrutinize. And beyond that, your familiarity with her companions makes you ideal for the task at hand. I sneak a quick glance at Merle, who still seems to be glowing at Lilywin with a look of quiet disapproval.
Ah, so these are your companions, Dream. We acquired some new intelligence on our way here. We've confirmed sightings from several old Sanaga members out on patrol in a number of regions. But I don't believe we're too late. We've no time to waste.
We thought it would be best to inform you. As things stand, an unprecedented number of rifts have been opening everywhere, both large and small. It's strange considering the frequency of their appearances have been on a downward trajectory until just recently.
What? Everywhere? But isn't it a mitigated disaster?
Do you think this lull we've been experiencing was merely the calm before the storm?
It appears that the continent of Iria isn't faring much better. Apparently, Taltian's Irian headquarters has also been exchanging some pretty urgent correspondence.
What? Then even in Vales, we just got rid of those things and now they're coming back?
I guess my hometown is no exception. That's one thing about the Order of the Black Moon. They're tenaciously thorough. According to the reports, these rifts aren't expelling matter like the ones we've seen before.
Just so. In fact, from all our first-hand sources could gather, they appear to be slowly drawing their surroundings inward.
Caswin has the right of it, I'm afraid. And that information is the last we received before the report was suddenly cut off. Wait, are you saying the rifts are absorbing?
It can't be. I don't think they were gathering life force to use as fuel for one of the rituals, do you?
I had heard you guys were a fairly large organization, and so I was wondering if that were true, why so few of you showed up here. I think I'm beginning to get the full picture now. You dispatched your knights all across Ulad and area. It's less that you left them behind and more like their active monitoring of the situation made it possible for you to come here yourselves. By now, the kingdom has no doubt realized the gravity of the situation. Having experienced several nights already, they've become rather adept at assembling a quick response. According to their latest report, however, nothing out of the ordinary has yet occurred at the royal castle. You make it sound like things there are all right for the time being, but to hold out in the face of such conditions...
Her Majesty will be...
We encountered 4 or 5 rifts just on our way here. We left behind just enough knights to counter and contain them, but... It pains me to say this, but I don't expect our men and women to last long. Autumn's expression is hardened and stoic, but his voice is choked with emotion. In a moment, a pall falls over all assembled here. Then a small but firm voice rings out amid the silence. All of you gathered here have come knowing that each of us may be asked to give everything we have. To destroy the root of this evil once and for all. Indeed, your holiness, in that self-same spirit have we joined this fight. I can no longer bear to watch this go on any longer. To see the world ravaged by terror after terror, trauma after trauma. I believe I speak for all of us when I say that whatever is unfolding here, it must be stopped, no matter the cost. One way or another, this has to end. Make no mistake, we are locked in a mortal struggle with the Order of the Black Moon. And neither we nor they can afford to back down now. We must push deeper into the ravine, Ari. Those crazed fools will be back here soon enough. Time to act is now.
But we can't go anywhere until we fix that broken bridge. The one in the middle still seems to be intact, but...
There's no way we can cross the one further in. That's where those Black Dwarf bastards are hiding, so that's where we need to go. Whoa, calm down. Old Merlin's got you covered. Once we get there, I'll fix it right up, so be prepared to be razzle-dazzled by my amazing magic. Be prepared to give it up for the #1 mage in the world.
Alright, that's enough, Merlin. Enough showing off. So the bottom line is, it's essential Merlin makes it inside, right? In that case, I'll stay and guard the rear. Iron? I'm glad to see that at least some of us understand here what kind of situation we're in.
Oh, that's my alarm. Be right back. Surely none of you expected the orders to simply let us proceed in peace. More than likely they'll come at us from all sides. Frankly, I'm not even sure how long we can afford to stand around discussing this. The other knights can only hold out for so long.
And some of us will have to buy time while the bridge is being repaired.
I'll stay behind too. I can't leave Iron here all by her lonesome. I will stay and help as well. They may only end up contending with the Order's minions, but if they send enough, 2 people may not be enough to deal with all of them. Isn't that right, Bater?
Huh? Oh, yeah. And you're gonna need someone who can send them flying back with a single swing of the axe. Someone like me. Guess I'm hanging back with the ladies. Besides, that human maid should be able to get the bridge back up in no time at all. You know it! Nice to see more people finally recognizing my unparalleled brilliance. I won't take long, I promise. Don't push yourselves too hard. And be sure to join up with us as soon as you can, alright?
Don't get all serious on us now, Merlin. It's just not your style. Right, Starlet? Oh, Iron. Go on, all of you, and leave things here to us. Dream, I'll see you when we're done here. I'm sure it won't take so long, so go on ahead. Did you remember back in Skaptuin? That wasn't so different from now. It sort of seems like it was ages ago now, doesn't it? Still, I remember it like it was yesterday.
It was years ago. Muriel, Bater, please be careful. And the same goes for you, Iron, Starlet.
Man, you guys worry too much. Just get inside and make sure Hunter's okay.
Understood. We'll leave the rear defense to the 4 of you. Dream?
He turns to me with a faint smile on his lips, nodding to signal that the temper action has come. I nod back. Alton calls out and gestures to the Alba Knights, who immediately move up. All troops, move out! A woman stands in front of me, her features sharp and aquiline. Silky golden hair flows behind her and her arms are crossed. She looks confident, almost noble. There's one turquoise eye and one violet eye, each with the same lively sparkle in their depths. We're dancing together! Isn't this a fun thing? I like doing this sometimes. If you get exactly close enough when you talk to an NPC, and that NPC has like animations that have them like... See? Little fun things. It's great. Look how quickly they took off. Guess I'd be in a hurry too if I knew that my friends were buying me time. I know what's at stake here. Every moment wasted translates to more people suffering.
Merlin, we should catch up with the Knights. It makes the most sense to stay together as a group. But just to verify once more, you're sure you can repair the bridge right away, correct?
Earlier you said you'd need my help, so don't hesitate to tell me what you need of me.
Relax, the bridge will be the easy part. I just need you to assist me with some stuff, that's all. Easy. Anyway, Starlet, Iron, take care of yourselves, alright?
Don't be surprised if we catch up with you sooner than you expected, Merlin. Right? Merlin, you're such a warrior. So get going. Time's a-wasting, and it wouldn't do to keep Hunter waiting.
Alright, leave everything to me. I'm glad to have you guys watching my back. Got this. Not even a rat will be able to sink past us.
See you on the other side. Thanks, everyone. I'll do my best. I'll go fast. Alright, now that that's settled, how do you want to divvy this up? I take it you've already noticed, Starlet? Yes, there are many more coming than I expected. I can already hear their footfalls drawing near. We have to do everything we can to hold them off.
You can try to best me if they want, but they'll soon find out how hard it is to take down a warrior of Physis.
My, I like your enthusiasm. Those black-robed thugs aren't going to lay a finger on any of my friends. Not if I have anything to say about it. I can't help but think of Jay still recuperating back in town. I hope the culinary artist will take care of him. Right now, just about the only thing we can do is have faith.
Fools, the lot of you. Even if you block the path, you will not be able to stop the will of the Great One. Our plan shall reach its perfect end. Attack! Give these interlopers no quarter!
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, RPAS? Iron, look there. They're already swarming in from the direction of Belfast.
Those frail little gnats are persistent, are they? Bring it on! I'll show you what a giant warrior's made of!
That sounded like what your captain used to say. Have you been practicing your battle cries? Anyway, eyes front, everyone. I have a feeling they're gonna make us really work for a victory this time. I know, just look at them pour in. I'll bet there's plenty more in reserve, too. It's a shameless way to fight, but it is effective. Still, they're not gonna get through as long as we're here. I'm not gonna cut them any slack, and neither should you. Hit 'em hard and hit 'em fast. Arya's counting on us, and it would be a real shame to let her down. Get ready, everyone.
Alright, let's do this! So, you genocidal nut jobs! I, Batera, will feed you your feel up sharp and still!
With Tar, Aaron, Starlight, go out all you want, but don't hesitate to call me if you're in danger. I'll drop everything to give you some support. That's so sweet of you. Thanks. Now it's time we deal with you bastards. Come and get it. Yes. No. Hi, Salad. How are you? What's up? How are you today? Ugh. Ugh. Wait, it looks like the ones that are all the way down there can't aggro on me. Can I maybe choose those? Wait, can I like... Okay, so those keep respawning, but can you like... I wonder if I can like spinning slasher and like hold them. Wait, if anyone else goes down, is it a problem? Okay. I can probably cheese it, but that's no fun to watch, so... Okay, thank yous. Oh. He did go down. That was a lot faster than I was expecting. Cool, I got the red Farcast. Oh my god, they hurt. That was Pain Peckle. Oh no, it has Heavy Standard. Go up. Go down. Starlight's all the way down there, like, doing her best. I feel bad for her. Can I heal? Does Iron even have healing magic? She does not. Ooh. Does she randomly have wine? What does she also have? Oh! She has the... I'm sorry! I was trying to like... I was derping around. Can I feed you? I cannot. Okay. So any damage you take is gonna be permanent. Permanent. Wait, Starlight's okay! She came back up. Okay. Thank you for the support shot, Marielle. Wait, where'd Bater go? Starlight's actually doing pretty good by herself. kind of want to like see what she's doing. She's like a fox. She's running around and just like getting ready to kill them, but not actually. Starlet is like a fox. Can I take it back and look over here? Yes, I can. Oh, that was actually a really good move on her part with like multi-person Discord. Wow. Ooh. Kimoy. No, Mario, come back. It seems like only Starlight actually revives. Let's push you that way, and then you can step up. Oh, you're dead. Okay. Starlight, I'll save you. Oh, you're just gonna die, dude. Ugh. Run away! Run! Good. Okay, we held off long enough. It's like there's no end. Pace yourself. This is a battle of attrition. It wouldn't be so hard to fight them one-on-one, but there are just so many. Try to conserve your strength. Everyone already seems to be flagging a bit. Especially you, Giant.
Damn, how'd you know? I didn't want to worry you guys, so I didn't say anything. Honestly, I feel like I'm holding out alright. Am I not?
You won't fool Starlight anytime soon, kiddo. Though, I can't say I feel much better. There are too many enemies to properly keep track of. And even light ones add up, making it hard to focus. Wait, that one looks like he's concentrating on something. That makes me nervous.
I know well the weaknesses of your kind. Even the smallest shake is enough.
Who said you could talk? Shut up and come at me! Come at me, bro!
Wait, look. Watch out, everyone. Bater!
No!
No!
You son of a bitch! I'll grind you down until there's nothing left but dust! All of you! Down to the last bone! Damn it!
Bater, don't get all worked up. It's not good.
Muriel! Are you okay?
Oh no, her wounds are critical.
What? Why'd you do that? It should have been me! I'm big enough to take the brunt of it! I should never let this happen to you!
Why did I? I just moved without thinking. Because you're my friend. At least she's still conscious. Let me check her condition. Hang on, the goon squad there isn't gonna wait for us to perform first aid. I know this is an emergency, but our first priority is still stopping them.
And no, it is not. I am an engineer. I just try my best with voices.
I'll protect Muriel. I won't let anyone come near.
Okay, Iron, let's keep pushing. They can't keep coming forever. Sure thing. I'm ready for whatever they've got. Oh, there's even more coming. Can I talk to you? No? Okay.
Dun 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 dun.
Aw, Iron's outfit is NPC only. Ugh. Oh, ow, 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 pain pickle, pain pickle, pain pickle.
Ugh.
Pain pickle, pain pickle! Help me! Help me, Starlet! Ugh. Up and down. Ugh. 気持ち悪い。あんたたちキモいですわ。
Wow, Starlight is like, prepare for destruction! Seems like a line that's kind of at odds with her personality. That's gonna be defense? That is defense. No smash read. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Walk up. Impact. What the? Why is everything shaking? What's going on here? My vision. It's getting blurry. Gotta hold out longer though. Let's do Death Mark into defense. Ugh. Starlight, please get unstuck. Kinda need you. I'm gonna let that guy shoot you. Hopefully that gets you unstuck. Okay, good, that got you unstuck. Lol Dance of Death, Starlight. Nice! Good crit.
And no, I just tried. Okay. Ugh. Good. Oh, no. I'm gonna do this. Good.
Strange. I usually don't get exhausted so quickly. Those knees. What did they do to me? Oh no. There's still a lot of enemies left. I can't let it end like this. Maybe she's poisoned. And then continuing to move around is just gonna make it worse. Oh, she's super slow now. I don't have enough torture to move. One, two, three. Let's turn over here. Spike you. Ugh, I couldn't get it off in time. Oh, cool. It recovered. My chain sweep is usually on 4, so like, this is messing with me. Having no cooldown lightning rod is kind of broken. Nope. That's a little unfair.
Boink. Stab.
Boink. Boink. Boink.
Anchor rush. I'll stab you in the back now.
Oh. Or you can punch me.
There we go.
Starlet, how you holding up? Think we're done here, yeah? Yeah, seems like we're good for now. It's strange, though. It almost feels like we've been hexed. There's no way we should be tiring this quickly. Annoying buggers, aren't they? But first, let's... Ow. Anyway, let's get back to the main group and check in with them. We have to be prepared in case they come back. Okay, just lean on me if you're having a hard time walking.
Thanks, darling. You really are a top-notch gal. And a good friend besides.
Great job holding them off, guys. Maria fell asleep a minute ago. She just won't stop sweating. I can't really tell how she's doing, but what I can do for her.
I'll check her condition before they attack again. There are just so many of them, and they've been wearing us down. We need to rest while we can, so we'll be ready for the next round.
Please hurry! Her forehead's she's burning up! Level with me here. How serious is it? Is it bad? Please tell me it's not!
It would be best to get her treated in town, but since that's not an option right now, we'll have to take temporary measures. She has multiple fractures, so I'm sure she's in a lot of pain. We have to find a way to carry her without jostling her. But Tara, I want you to hold her and be as gentle as you can.
Okay, hang in there, Marielle. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
Thanks for sticking with me and Starlet, you two. Turns out you're pretty reliable. I can see why the Expeditionary Force keeps you around.
There's no way I'll let it end like this. I'm going to drag you all down to hell with me.
Do these guys never get tired of getting their asses kicked?
No, Starlet! No, I won't let you hurt my friends. Not now, not ever. Iron? Iron, wait, what are you doing? Stop! Oh. The evil alchemist voice? Iron, come on, don't do this. Wake up. We have to. This power. Was I finally able to use it? There's still so much we promised to do together. Alright. Did she make it? Starlet, you're safe. That's one good thing at least. Please, say something. Iron, no. Look at me. Iron! Iron! Without you, the world is silent and gray. Please, say something. This is a joke, right? Now get off, please. Don't do this to me. I'm begging you. Iron, please, no. Iron. Oh, that was the evil alchemist, yes. That was like the archmage. Wow, the very air touching my body seems charged with an ominous dread. Things are really heating up. Let me check how close am I to finishing part 1. Because I wanted to do the giveaway for the end of part 1. So, let me